Hey! Good morning, everybody. Wow, it's Wednesday. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. It's Wednesday.
This week is flying.
It is.
Which I appreciate.
Well, we got Point Fest on Saturday. I think that's the big thing that's circled on everybody's calendar.
You getting hit up for Point Fest tickets and for set times? Because I sure as hell am. Everybody I know is like, hey, what time does the Urge go on? And I'm like, we haven't released it yet.
Yeah.
Calm down. Friday,
That comes out Friday, usually. Usually the day before the show, they'll post set times up on the Points website. But no, I'm getting hit up for tickets.
It's the best.
I'm getting hit up for tickets from people I haven't talked to in a long time, too.
Oh, that's the best.
That's fun.
How are you? Hey, by the way, can I get tickets to Point Fest?
Oh, show sounds great.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Show sounds great. Hey, can I have tickets?
That's how relationships work, though. Sometimes you don't reach out until
you need something.
That's how you need something.
Yeah,
it's
you know
not
how
about
that goes.
If that's how you want to see it, that's not how.
Oh, how do you see it?
Yeah, how do you see it
Go
right
ahead.
now?
I see it like, okay, listen, man, the majority of my friends aren't in this town. They're made from touring and different things. We're not checking on each other every day or every week or something like that. Usually it has to do with, oh, dude, you're coming through town, and it's not that I'm needing tickets, but it's like a top-of-the-mind reminder kind of thing.
Oh, well, see, all of our friends are here, and they just want tickets because we work here.
Yeah, but
actually...
are they only friends with you for tickets? Because if that's the case, I totally see your point. But like the other way is like, I mean, should they not reach out unless it has nothing to do with your business?
They shouldn't reach out.
Let's not reach out.
Like, let me offer. Like, I do have one friend who is going to be sitting with Tim and I. He talked to the boss. He talked to Tommy, the boss, actually, at my birthday party. And he followed up with me and was like, hey, just following up. Is this cool? And, like, that's fine because the boss said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to give.
I feel
I'm
like
not
a responsibility. I feel like a responsibility that I gotta get them.
Well, that's something that you're putting on you.
Oh yeah, I'm a psycho. Come on, man.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I want to
know,
actually.
and you know that too.
Instead of tickets, don't you just want them to go? Hey, you know what? We haven't caught up in a while. Let's go get a coffee. How about that?
I don't want to do that either.
Okay, well, I do.
How about I get you tickets?
I'd rather tickets.
That's the best way to approach you, is just to be like, invite you out to do something. Be like, well, how about I just get you tickets to something? You pick anything. I'll make it happen.
Yeah, hey man, do you want to do lunch? We haven't hung out in a while. Let's catch up. You want tickets for Point Fest? Okay, good.
That's actually what I was.
I think my friends respect me because when I answer, they say, "What's up, ticket boy?" You know, and I go, "That seems pretty on the nose."
The master of tickets, not ticket master, but the master of tickets.
If I can't get you something, I'll say, "Oh no, I can't get you something." But don't hesitate to ask.
But we can get them something.
Oh, please hesitate to ask me.
And if I can do something for a legitimate friend, whether they've reached out, taken me to lunch, or communicated in the last 10 years or not, doesn't matter. If I can do something for them, I would love to do
Ladies and gentlemen,
something
for all your ticket requests, the man to my
Moon
left.
Valjean.
Moon Valjean. Don't bother
At
with
105.7 The Point.
The official Ticketmaster of the
Or
Rizzuto
his
Show.
private email.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right.
You heard it here
whatever.
first. This is great.
Good. I'm not fine with it, so
Can he forward you the requests?
I will forward you all requests from now on.
It hurts worse when
I
it's.
think I said this week was going fast.
Hope you organize.
Sassy a-holes.
You see? It's
You
going
guys
to be
are terrible.
Why are we
terrible.
You're
Oh, I'm
attacking.
sorry. I'm just telling
Are you
the
not being
truth of how
sincere
I
about
feel.
what you're saying?
Of course I'm being
Okay,
sincere.
then everything's
I
fine.
don't believe it.
I don't think there's a problem here at all.
I'm sorry. I'm just,
Scott?
telling
attitude.
you my feelings. Sorry if it hurts.
Oh, it doesn't hurt.
Don't call me sassy.
I'm confused.
See, I'm just going to give out your phone number.
We keeping it real on
I'm
this
keeping
show.
it real
Calls
here.
himself a psycho, but sassy is over the
I'm
line.
a sassy psycho.
It hurts
Listen.
worse when it's a comedy show. I get a lot of those where it'll be like, "Hey, Brad Williams is sold out." That one hurts the worst because I had a friend be like, "Hey, Brad Williams is sold out. Do you know anybody at the pageant or anybody that can help you get tickets?" And I was like, "My last name is Williams, and you haven't been to one of my shows." And like, so I'm not even your favorite Williams comedian. That's fine. Yeah, let me.
I'm like
Please.
comedians under 3.5 feet.
I understand that.
That happens often where people will be like, "You know anybody at Helium?" Or they'll hit me up for shows that I'm not on, or it's people that I know have not been to see me when I was in town.
Yeah.
I still do it out of guilt, but I don't
Always
like
out
it.
of guilt.
Yeah, well, also in my head, I don't want them to think I can't get them tickets.
Right. It's an ego thing.
Well, it's an ego thing for me.
For sure. Last night at band
think about
practice,
that.
my drummer's like, hey, I really want to go to that Struts show. And I'm like, You really okay? Well, then you know what to do, I guess. You know.
And then you go.
Now I'm getting
I don't think
Struts
I don't think I can get you Struts tickets. Well, I thought you were some big time radio
Exactly.
guy. Well,
Oh God.
well now I gotta. Yeah, I'm still a big time radio guy. I get you tickets. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
can get you whatever
if
you
I'm
want.
not, now I'm buying them.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm buying, them for them.
Now I'm buying them and going. I got them for free.
I've done that before.
I'm not buying it.
Have you done that before, for real? Because I have.
Yeah,
You
I have.
said you could get tickets and then you just bought them.
and I just bought them for the person.
Oh man, and I'm the crazy one over here. You guys.
Nobody
I tell you
has
what.
ever said we are not crazy.
Yeah, that is my adjective for life.
I have never passed myself off as not a crazy person.
Oh, and I
This
understand.
as well as sassy and crazy, which is a good combo.
Yeah.
It's like my son played me for that PS5, and he knew what he was doing. When the PS5 first came out, and nobody could get them, and he's like, you can't get one, Mr. Big Shot.
Oh, he knew exactly.
He
what
knew
to
exactly
do.
what he was doing. I go, this guy can't get you PS5? Big time radio guy?
You know who your father is?
Yeah, you know who your father is? I'll get you PS5. And then I turn my back and I walk away. I go, how am I going to get this kid a PS5?
How'd you do it?
I had to call in a lot of favors.
There you go. But you got it done.
Yeah,
And that's who you are.
I got it done.
You're the closer.
It was a last minute thing too.
Proud of you. That's great.
$10,000 later. I got.
Yeah, put out a
Got
call.
that PS5.
Got a call out for a PS5, no matter the cost.
Spare no expense.
I had to send a guy to Japan.
Hey, let's be honest with ourselves. Let's say there's something.
I'm nothing but.
Let's say there's something coming. Mm-hmm. You know, this city, another city, whatever. Like it's something very, very important to you, and you may have a direct connection. Now, this direct connection may be a friend, acquaintance. I don't care what you'd like to label it as, but this is somebody that you haven't spoken to or seen.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever circumstance, because we are all adults living drastically different lives with drastically different schedules, and we all respect and understand that with one another. Are you telling me you're not going to reach out if you got some direct connection to say, hey, can I get Dodger tickets or Post Malone? I don't care what it is. Like
I usually don't.
I usually don't either. Like,
Really?
For real. Like, so perfect example. Deftones are coming in town. I can't go to that show, but they will be playing in Kansas City. I have a direct connection to Deftones tickets. I will not be asking.
Why is that?
I will buy. I'll just buy them.
Yeah.
I'll just go and do
Why
it
is-
myself.
yeah, why is that? Because if
I
you're
don't know.
friends with them,
I don't want
or-
to bother.
I don't-
I don't want to bother.
I don't want to have to be in the hole. You know what I'm saying? Like now you owe somebody something. I like to keep that at a bare minimum, like for real.
Yeah, if they're offered, I'll take them. I'm 99% of the time not reaching out.
Wow.
Okay.
Because you treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, and I don't
you're
want to be
like,
left
I don't
alone.
want this. I don't want this.
I hate asking.
I guess the world, yeah. Moon and I come from a totally different.
And I have asked before,
World.
and I always feel like I'm bothering somebody. I don't know.
Same.
It's just the way I am.
Oh, is it?
It's the way I
Yeah,
feel about it.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is the business or something.
Maybe it is.
I don't know.
I've been in the business for a
it's
long
not-
time.
Okay, this is a completely different side of the fence. Clearly, I think there's
I
a
don't know,
different
man. It's just-
attitude towards it. To me, it's not bothering. There's no transactional thing here. There's no ledger that I'm holding against somebody, or I would assume isn't being held against me.
Yeah, but it's me having to ask then somebody else.
Listen,
for it.
but it's like you're in one business, like you're in one thing. Your perks are very specific; they're very narrow. As is my software company owner. You know what I'm saying? With that sort of narrow expertise, and I would think that you would want to just kind of be an open. Like, you know, if for my friend group,
Nah.
large and small, this is my point of contact in the planet, and they have theirs, and we're all just a
now what I'm
sharing
doing is,
circle.
now I got to get you the tickets, and now we got to do that.
Now, but I will
And now
say,
I got to worry about you getting into the show, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, I don't worry about
I
that.
don't want to do that. Leave me alone. Everybody, leave me alone.
heard it here first. Breaking news.
Well, good
Leave me
friends.
alone.
There's already ticket requests coming through, by the way.
Yeah.
And good friends would always send you to their tour manager anyway. So they'd be like, here's his number. Just reach out to him.
Right.
Yeah, but then you're putting it on like the tour manager.
Yeah,
doesn't
but they
have
love
anything
doing
to
that
do.
stuff.
Yeah,
They really do.
Yeah, because they don't have anything else on their plate. Just leave me alone.
part of the
I don't want to
job.
do anything. I don't want to give you anything. I don't want to get anything. I'm going to stay home, okay? I'm going to go
not
to
going to
bed.
Point Fest now?
I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to
Okay.
have my blanket over my head, and I'm just going to stay there and die.
You need to
okay?
be dunked. You have a schedule. You cannot get out of
He's
this.
going to be dunked with paper tickets in his hand and watch him disintegrate in the water
Yeah,
in front of everyone
Leave
who
me alone,
asks.
for God's sakes. I don't want to worry about your tickets. I don't want to worry about you getting in or
Right.
how I'm getting you the tickets.
And then there's
or
an
me,
issue.
Or me having to ask, or I get a phone call saying the tickets don't work.
Oh,
I
God.
don't want it. I don't want it. Okay? There's enough going on. I got to be sitting in a dunk tank at 3:15 on Saturday.
Right. That's all we know. That's the schedule.
That's what I got to do, okay? That's on the schedule.
Preach, sister. That's really great.
Yes, it's a burden, okay?
Might as well.
You ask for tickets, it's a burden.
It's a blessing and a burden.
No, it's a burden, period. Don't ask me. I'm done.
Great.
I'm done. I'm done with tickets. That's it. Ask Moon. He would love to.
Apparently they are.
He would love to give you tickets.
It is no cross to bear for me.
It is a
pretty
cross
easy.
to bear for me, and I don't care what you think. That's it. It's over. The ticket window's closed.
It's Wednesday. We're closed.
Go see Will Call
We're
because you're not
closed,
going to see
yeah.
Rizz Call.
We're closed forever. So Saturday still calling for nice weather. Friday though, that's a different situation. Have you heard?
No.
Snow.
Have you heard? Yes.
Oh, no.
Crazy.
That's a
6
bummer.
inches of snow.
Man, it's St. Louis weather, huh?
Uh-huh.
They don't like it?
Boom.
Just wait 5 minutes.
Change in an instant. No, Friday they're calling for strong and severe thunderstorms. The main threat window is 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're talking large hail. Some hail could be larger than golf balls. Let me see, damaging winds. Gusty winds capable of causing damage are possible. Tornadoes. Chance for 1 or 2 tornadoes with a, I guess, significant tornado parameter highest over parts of southeast Missouri. So the severe weather threat was initially focused on Missouri's far southern counties, but new forecasts suggest the threat could reach farther north, including the St. Louis metro area. So Friday, Saturday, nice day. 80s, sunny, from what they're saying. Friday, not so nice. So to have Saturday, we need to go through Friday.
Okay.
You know, that's just going to make Saturday even better.
Maybe it is.
You know, it's the darkest before the dawn.
So temperatures are expected to reach well into the 80s or even 90s, providing plenty of energy for these storms, guys.
Great.
Be juiced up.
They better get it out of their system on Friday. I don't want anything messing with us on Saturday.
Yeah, storm energy. Bring that
So-
energy.
To surmise, be prepared for severe thunderstorms Friday afternoon into the evening. Possibility of large hail, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes. Again, we need to go through Friday, crappy weather, for a great Saturday, which I'm looking forward to. And yeah, we're hitting 90 degrees. Close today, right? Close today, maybe a little tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Today, high of 86.
86 degrees.
This will be a good
Say
preview.
Ouch.
What's to come?
Yeah, it hit 80, once in this last couple weeks? And, of course, what's happening in my house? Dad, when are we opening the pool?
When are we opening up the
pool?
pool?
When are we opening the pool?
When are you opening up the pool?
Man, not until these seeds are done. I'm done with that. I'm done cleaning helicopters and these little stringy things or whatever else is coming off these elm trees. I'm done with that.
Dude, I got so many trees just blooming out of my deck because they're getting lodged in like in between the boards and they're like
yeah.
planting and like so I got little trees sprouting up. I gotta like pluck them out of my deck.
Oh, rub it in. You know, he's losing trees.
I
You're-
know.
You just got him
Hey, yo, what-
willy-nilly.
Did you tell everybody where you planted your tree that we all got you for your birthday?
I thought I did, but maybe not. Maybe
on
we
the
never
air?
talked about it on the show.
Where are you planting it?
It has been planted.
Really?
So
And
for
it's-
Scott's birthday,
I feel like this has got a twist.
Got him an
we all
oak
chipped
tree.
in and got him an oak tree
Yeah.
to replace the one that fell.
Does this have a twist to it?
It does have a twist to it. Not really. But our backyard, the way it's set up, it's kind of, it'd been tough to get that tree in the backyard to fit just right because there's wires on both sides of the fence line. So I decided to take it all the way up, and it rode with me to Shelbina, and it's on my grandma's property.
Oh, cool.
So it's in the backyard. You can see it beautiful from the kitchen
Come
window.
on, that wasn't meant for your grandma's property.
Well, that house will be in there.
We didn't buy a gift for your grandma. We bought it for you.
Oh,
Come on.
That's forever. and
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
it's
forever
forever
thing.
home.
That'll be around forever that way.
You can never trust a tree again. He's not ready.
Trust tree?
He's not ready for a new relationship with the tree in his backyard.
Okie dokies in the ground. He's happy.
I didn't give money for a Shelbina tree. I gave money for an Overland tree.
Yeah,
It's your birthday.
He
You can
wants
do
to
whatever you
breathe the
want.
air that he gifts to you.
You owe Rizz $20.
All right.
Yeah.
This is the shade in which he would like to lie.
It's going to be great. You guys will see. Yeah.
I guess it's your tree. Do whichever you want, but
Did you and Allison take a photo in front of it? Because I think you should. And then in
Yeah.
like 10 years, take another photo. And like, you know, maybe we aren't friends anymore in 10 years
exciting.
and you just text me out of nowhere and like
I love
Ask
it.
for tickets.
ask for tickets and
Yeah.
here's the tree now. That's what I want.
Here's me and Okie
hopefully
dokie.
we gave you a ticket tree.
What do you think about
hope
Deftones
so.
tickets?
Well, listen, it's getting to be
He heard you have an
summertime.
inn.
Yeah, it's Moon.
No, it's not.
Summertime, and I brought the kids last Friday to. They love going to Silky's. I'm a good dad when I bring the kids to Silky's.
You're the
Custard?
best.
Hey, Dad, ice cream? Come on, kids, get in the car. Wow. Let's go.
Parent of the year.
Let's go, guys. I see their teenage eyes light up.
What's their order? What do they get when they go
I
there?
don't pay attention to
Oh,
that.
okay.
Silky's over Aces or Andes.
The Silky's is closer.
I was gonna ask. Is this a
I don't know.
proximity thing?
I don't know.
It's like a minute
proximity thing.
closer.
What did you get? What did you get? Tell
I
us.
usually get the Elvis Presley, but
What is that, chocolate and pretzel? Is it mixed
I'm
or
looking
is it
this up.
toppings?
I don't like it concrete.
I don't either.
I like it as kind of the ice cream with the fixins on it.
Sunday.
I like it Sunday style.
Let's go around the horn, actually. 'cause
The Elvis Presley. Do you see what it is? It's got pretzels. It's got
Fudge.
chocolate.
Banana?
No,
Bacon.
no, but it's delicious. That's my go-to is the Elvis Presley.
Is everybody on board with the Sunday in here? Is anybody like straight concrete person?
I love a hot fudge sundae.
No, my daughter gets the
Sundays are good.
concrete. I don't like it.
I don't either. Let me mix my toppings as I wish. I don't want the blender to do it.
Yeah, I don't need it. I don't need you to hold you. I don't need you to hold the cup upside down and show me how,
No.
That's a good
how
point.
thick it is.
That's interesting.
You also need the proof. They need proof of topping.
That's right.
That's a good point. Because sometimes I do get a concrete just because of the ease of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't think I got enough mix-ins.
I like to masticate the thing in my mouth.
I gotta say, Silky's.
Okay.
Where's this at?
Silky's, you got a little,
This is Silky's.
just a little work to do, and I
Manchester.
do mean little work.
Never been
when
there.
when you put your menu up on the internet, which is not difficult anymore, you got to give me some pictures.
Right.
You want to attract me? You
what
want me to
have-
pass Andy's
what you
to
have
come
on
to
there?
Silky's?
What you have on there is exactly what is on the drive-through menu, and what you see there at Silky's.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
But he's right, because you go to Andy's website, it has the pictures.
Digital
What do you need
menu.
a picture for?
what do you mean?
What's yours?
What do you need a picture for?
Because you,
know what-
eat with your
Muddy
eyes
Snickers.
before you go.
Yeah, but you don't need.
I'm
I
on
need-
that
We don't need a new
Snickers.
menu board.
Okay. Well, this business advice brought to you by nobody
They
uses
seem
their
to be
eyes
doing
eat.
okay.
Ah.
See, there's a line always.
It'd be a bigger line.
I actually like
Good
ice
font.
cream with sprinkles very much.
Yeah, Muddy Sneakers is probably going to be my. If I
Muddy
go there for the
Sneakers?
first time, that's going to be the first thing I try.
That's Reese's Cups, hot fudge, and peanut butter. You see the Elvis Presley?
Anything with peanut butter mixed in is always good.
Those
pretzels,
pretzels are on the
caramel,
bottom.
milk, and melted chocolate.
You know why it's so good? It's that runny peanut butter.
That's what I like.
And they
Well-
put the pretzels on the bottom. You know what? I'm assuming it's little roll gold salted ones.
Well, they're all broken up. They're delicious.
Right, but they're like salted,
Yes.
right? It's got that salted in
Dude,
the ice cream.
I'm telling you, that's the thing there.
Do they got Heath Bar
My
all
son gets
crunched
the
up?
grasshopper, and my daughter will get.
Grasshopper.
My son loves mint
I love a good toffee bar
mint
every
ice
once in a
cream,
while.
which is disgusting.
Yeah, my sister's that way too.
I don't know
What's
why.
wrong
What's
with
wrong
you?
with
Fine.
you?
Mint ice cream?
Like you don't want to enjoy what you're doing, you know? Like you're
It's
having
like
mint.
toothpaste.
Right. Good for you with your breath.
Like, might as well just squeeze some toothpaste onto your
Yeah.
ice cream.
Might as well gargle this Listerine while I'm having this cream.
You like?
Cool.
I'll take a vanilla ice cream with a squirt of Colgate on there.
You know what? I'd love to have a little shot of this
Whatever.
Listerine and down that and then
This is
put
an
this white custard under my
The crust
belly.
concrete's good.
Today's becoming an exercise in our differences. Because,
You like mint ice cream?
yeah, that sounds amazing, dude. Chocolate chunks with mint topped with fudge.
When you got all these other options? Hell no.
You kidding me?
Pretty.
Yeah. When you got the Elvis Presley on the menu, and you're choosing grasshopper.
This is not
Way
a
to go,
zero.
Grandpa.
This is not a
I almost-
zero-sum game.
I almost
They can all
disowned
be
my
great.
son.
He's holding out for that rum raisin.
Just because the grasshopper is great doesn't mean the Elvis Presley is any less great.
Might as well have a Raisin Bran ice cream, you know? Let's just
If
really
it was
screw
on
it up.
there, he'd get it.
I know.
Anyway, there's a place out in Caseyville, Illinois. Lovely Caseyville. Anybody been?
Of course.
Oh,
Love
of course.
Caseyville. Yeah, drive through it, right? Going to Collinsville, you got to go through Caseyville, I believe.
There's a place called Dairy Haven. Okay, and they're taking a firm stance on something this summer.
Oh.
And they refuse to take your sweaty money. They are refusing to take your sweaty money.
Your crotch dollars?
Well,
yeah.
well, it's just east of Washington Park, right? That's where some of the strip clubs are. Maybe that's a sweaty money. No, I'm thinking Brooklyn.
Like you're in the pool.
Washingtonville's has PTs.
Yeah, Washington
did have.
Washington Park also. I think Hustler Club's in Washington Park.
Oh, okay. Well, Caseyville is like the next township, really.
Caseyville was the old school PTs for a long time.
Yes.
So
That's
it
why
had
I've been
its
there. I
own.
go, why have I been to Caseyville?
It has its own with a
That's
little
why.
massage parlor adjacent.
Oh.
Caseyville's got their own thing going on.
That's why I've been to Caseyville.
And I don't blame them for not taking sweat money.
I was going to say, maybe that's why they're not taking this
I
sweaty
asked
money.
someone in the office, I go, Caseyville's on our listening area. I've been there. Why?
You could not remember why.
Why?
Cannot place it.
Well, that's why, PTs. That's why. I used to meet
Center
Scott
Bill.
over there on Tuesdays.
Yeah, you got
What was that buffet they had?
For the food. Yeah.
But so the Dairy Haven, they are it's a local ice cream spot, and they posted a sign letting people know, hey, we will not accept your sweaty money. Now, it all started as I guess the summer heat kicked in last year, and people started paying with cash pulled straight from sports bras and shoes.
Oh, there it is right there, Dairy Haven. East O'Fallon Drive and North Main Street.
Okay.
So in a Facebook post, the manager over there at the Dairy Haven,
Oh, look at this little cute little spot.
it looks like a cute little spot, but he wrote, if money is seen being pulled from anywhere other than a pocket, a wallet, a purse, a satchel, he even said merce, and pulled from a sweaty body, we will refuse it.
What if it's from the sock?
No.
Absolutely not, Scott.
No.
Dang.
No, he says it's gotten to the point where people are pulling money out of their sweaty armpits, and the thought of handing that back to other customers is just unsanitary. We will not accept sweaty money.
Somebody commenting on this post says, FYI, I've assisted ED physicians from removing drug money from rectums. Removed large amounts of money from socks, shoes, bras, underwear, prosthetics, underwigs, old books, including the Bible, and off gunshot victims covered in dirt, alcohol, and blood. Money should be handled with gloves, especially around food, no matter if you saw them pull it out of a Gucci bag.
Well,
Thank you, Janelle.
Well,
that's not news.
yes, money is dirty. We know that.
You know-
Is that the old urban myth? And I don't know if it's true or not that every dollar bill contains trace amounts of cocaine.
Oh, I think that's a myth, but I know it has lots of amounts of doo-doo on it.
Oh, yeah, fecal matter. But is that true about the cocaine thing? Somebody looked that up.
I think that was back in the day when people were using dollar bills to snort cocaine. I think now there's,
now we're
paraphernalia to do it. You don't need the dollar anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
Gordon
if people
Gekko.
are worried their money is dirty and everything, just hand it over to me and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Most
Yeah.
banknotes have traces of cocaine on them. This has been confirmed by studies done in several countries. In 94, the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals cited findings in L.A. 3 out of 4 banknotes are tainted by cocaine or another illicit.
Whoa.
But that was 94. That's like post-80s. That's still in the zone.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that's changed.
Well, they're not vaping cocaine. I mean, cocaine's still old school.
And people are still doing this with dollar bills?
Yeah.
Hey, man, news to me. I'm sorry. I'm hanging out at Dairy Haven.
Lots of people
So
commenting are up in arms. One guy says, you should take every single dollar people are willing to give you for that crap you serve. Okay.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh.
Another person says,
not
I
the
miss when
best.
Dairy Haven had professional ownership. How embarrassing. What?
Oh.
I would say this is professional.
I can't believe this is controversial.
Yeah, there was.
People
Whenever
get
I worked
heated
on
on their
Warp
ice
Tour,
cream.
whenever I was the merchant manager on Warp Tour, there the amount of times you'd have somebody pull sweaty, gross, soggy money from a sock or
Oh, yeah.
their bra, which I called milk money or whatever it was. It was
Right.
just disgusting and.
And it's Warped Tour. All of us smell. It's all
Oh, man.
all
And
of it
I
is
wanted
just-
to refuse that money so bad.
But
And-
you didn't.
No, 'cause
Well,
I need
but
money.
you're a Warped Tour and everything's sweaty.
Yeah, this is gross.
Yeah, everything's sweaty. It's the assumption of grossness.
Warped Tour did not smell bad because all of us smelled bad.
I feel bad for. I mean, these little dairy stands like this are little league teams, and there's going to be so many kids whose parents. It's going to be a hassle. I guess the kids. Do you still give your kids like $5 or a little bit of cash to grab a treat, or do they have their own debit cards now?
No, now everything you send them cash on their phone.
Apple Cash.
Wow.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe it'll work out that way. Because usually that's who's pulling the sweaty money out, is some kid who hasn't showered in 4 days in the summer.
And you know what? There was a time when I said to, hey, Dad, I'm going to the movies. Can I have, can I have $20? All right, here's $20. Hey, can you just put it on my phone? Mm-hmm. Like, ooh, okay. Yeah, because everything now is you get tap.
Right.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, this place is cash only.
Oh, it is.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if it is anymore.
Well, I'm going to push back on that and say, come on, man.
You got to open up with the times. Another guy says, crybabies, just wash your hands or clothes over your overpriced ice cream stand.
Oh, man.
Hey.
You know what? All these people that are saying stuff like this are just calling themselves out for being the crotch smugglers. Like they got all their cash stashed in their gooch,
Oh, PT's is in Centerville, not Caseyville.
Oh, hey, you.
Do not besmirch the name.
I think I whispered that into the microphone late in that conversation.
Do not besmirch the name of Caseyville. We're talking Centerville. You are correct.
Well, then perhaps you have not been to Caseyville.
But I think I have.
I mean, it's really close, dude. It's directly east of East St. Louis, of the Arch. I mean, it's straight shot.
But yes, controversy at the Dairy Haven. Keep your sweaty boob money.
Fine.
Or they should have like
For the illusion.
I don't know, the town pervert there just to like exchange. Like he'll take your sweaty boob money
For
Yeah,
what?
for a fee.
Yeah,
well,
have him
he
with
will
clean
exchange.
cash.
So he's got like banknotes in a plastic bag?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So you give him your
Crispies?
sweaty. You give him your sweaty under boob 20, and he'll give you a regular, nice, crisp, clean
and
20.
he just moves over the crispy.
That's it. And his payment is the
Ice cream.
knowing that this dollar has been close to your breast. I don't know.
Is it
We're
weird?
we're brainstorming here.
Is it weird that places only take cash in 2025?
I
Like,
think
No.
it's weird.
like, don't you kind of get? I mean, this is my opinion on that. When I see things go down that way, it's like, are you telling the IRS about all the money you're making? Like, I
No,
have
we
this
don't
kind of
talk about
judgment.
that.
You know,
Well, it's a ding on the business because typically they got to pay a 2 to 3%
For sure.
hike on that.
but it's
Like,
2025.
I had to get my
Wait, they have to
okay.
pay a hike for cash
So
only?
I had to get my
no,
garage door
for
fixed.
credit.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I had to get my garage door fixed the other day. The spring broke. And this was like, I need an emergency visit. And by the way, if the spring breaks in your garage, do not try to fix it yourself.
No,
Okay.
that's how you get killed.
That's how you get
some stupid way.
There are plenty of videos online of the aftermath of somebody trying to fix their own garage door spring. A lot of blood.
Springs and bungee cords are vicious. I wouldn't say silent killers, but surprise killers.
Oh.
Dude that we worked with died down at it was a bungee cord, like a big giant bungee cord, and he was putting it back on a dumpster, and it just slipped off and popped him in the head, and he hit the ground and
Dead.
Golly.
Dang.
Bungee cord.
Centerville doesn't even exist anymore, by the way.
What? It's off the map.
Says it's been incorporated by into Cahokia Heights, which is pretty much Caseyville, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so Centerville's been absorbed like
By Cahokia Heights, wherever
Like
that
a
is.
cyst.
the blob, like absorbed it.
So I tried to look it up on a map, and I'm like, it's not here. It's just showing me Caseyville. What's going on?
Well, anyway, with this garage door, this is right when we came back from vacation. The garage door wouldn't open. I go, damn, man, I need this. And I've been lately like trying to fix things myself.
Good for you.
And well, thanks YouTube, because YouTube's got a lot of
Yeah.
how to whatever you need videos on there. How to fix your dishwasher, how to do this, how to change
How
a
to talk to
faucet,
your
blah, blah, blah.
kids.
How to change your garage door spring. And it says don't. Why? Watch these videos. So I called a pro.
Good.
And did you know that the garage door springs are under tension when the garage is down? Didn't know that. That's when it's at its highest tension, when the garage door is down. And
So-
when I was gone,
So it's breathing easy when the door's open.
when the door's
It's
open, it
all
breathes easy.
Relaxed.
Because I said, how did this garage door break? How did the spring break when we weren't even there? Like nobody opened and closed the garage. He says, no, it's under tension. So the guy came out, repaired the spring, and he said that's going to be, $425.
Whoa.
I said, what if I give you $400 cash? And he goes, whoa, whoa, all right.
Cool.
Nobody does this anymore. And he was super psyched. $400.
Okay.
$25 discount, huh?
Nice.
Cash.
Very cool.
Very good.
Cash, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a little something for you. Fine. Uncle Sam don't need to know about this. Hey, whatever. Hey, that's up to you.
I'm just saying, I have the thought every time I see a business that's cash only, I go, what's going on here? Every time. I don't think I'm the only one.
What is going on there, huh?
Yeah.
Are we laundering money?
Nah, it's somebody that doesn't want to change their prices and doesn't want to deal with the fees. And they're just like, this is easier. It's if my dad ran a business, this is the crap that would happen.
It's easier. We don't got to do credit card fees. We got to deal with it. Here's how much I made.
Right.
It's on the ledger. Here's how much I declare every year. It's good.
This
Put
is
an
how I
ATM
did
over
business
there.
in 1965, and this is how I'll do
And I
business in
literally
25.
have a ledger, and I'm writing.
Like even Fast Eddie's has moved into the credit card world, right?
And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was like one of the last holdouts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Dairy Haven, and people go there, they say it's cash only.
Okay.
There's an
well,
ATM.
I didn't know.
Well, I mean, an ice cream thing, I can see you can
Yeah, a lot of
you
those
can be
are-
one of the last holdouts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not complicated.
But at the same time, dude, there is probably 80% of the time these days I got zero cash. Zero cash on me. And I think a lot of people are living like that.
Well, good thing Dairy Haven has an ATM right on site.
course
oh,
it does.
cool. I haven't used an ATM in 20 years.
What?
15 years.
Really?
Yeah. No, I just had I had a bad experience.
And you're done.
Well, it was just like, dude, after the credit card things, and then certainly after smartphones started happening, you just carry a credit card. It's easier. I'm getting points on that. Debit card doesn't give me any sort of really benefits as far as that goes. I have one for some like perks for some other stuff, but I haven't used an actual ATM since it took. I had an ATM in England take my card, and I was just like, what? Like this is now I'm really screwed. I was here for cash, and you just took the only access I had to cash
Right.
now. So I was just like, I'm never going to let this happen again.
Damn machine.
Hey, by the way, Dairy Haven, apparently from a lot of these Coleman's Campers texters, best dip cone around.
Get out of here.
All right.
That's
Best
fudge.
dipped cone around.
Good dip cone.
You might have the wrong Dairy Haven. Edwardsville has Northside Dairy Haven. That place rules.
Oh, really?
And their cherry dipped cone is off the chain. So
Cherry
I'm
dipped
wondering-
cone.
I'm just wondering. Their fudge dipped cone is really good too, but they've got multiple dips. Very good.
Butterscotch.
I don't know. We'll have to look.
All right.
Well, it's that season, guys. It's going to be in the 90s, so be prepared for lines at your local Dairy Havens or Silkies or Andes or
Bring cash. Dry.
Mr. Wizards.
Mr.
Crispy.
Wizards.
Cash.
I used to live by frozen custard stands. Like the last two houses, I had frozen custard stand I could walk to, and that was a big problem
Yeah.
because, you just get a little inkling like, you know what, maybe I'll just walk down the block.
We had a place near us growing up called Mr. Wizards, and
It was great.
it was the little ice cream stand, and come to find out they were selling ice cream up front and crack out the back. So, yeah, that's right.
Whoa,
Dang,
crack
dude.
in the
Hey,
back.
that's good stuff.
We had Spankies. We had Spankies.
Been up for 3 days on Mr. Wizards.
My dad's a South City feller, and my uncle's like Scott and I's uncle is an obsessor over Ted Drew's. Anytime he would come in town, this is before they sold it in like the tubs where you could get it in the freezer. So he would go down there and get like a bunch of handheld stuff and bring it back and take it back to the country as much as he could. So when we would go to Spanky's, the little place in South County, it was like I hurt my dad's feelings. He was
Oh,
like-
really?
He's like, why we have Ted Drew's in this town.
He's a sensitive.
Yeah, why would we go anywhere else? But man, I loved it. I love those ice cream places. Mm-hmm. It was the best. Just pulling up, you sit in that sticky, nasty blue bench and eat your ice cream and just think, man, who has spilled ice cream here?
Everybody.
Wally's.
Everybody.
It was
Wally's.
Wally's, not Mr. Wizards.
Mr. Wizards is in
Wally's,
Maplewood.
that's it.
We had a Mr.
Damn
Wizards
delicious.
on Page.
Wally's ice cream.
Cracky's ice cream. It's just slowly going to be like more obvious.
Wally's crack.
It was police confirmed that
Ice cream so good, you think it's crack.
they believe cocaine and crack was being processed and distributed out of the longtime ice cream shop on Main Street in New City, New York.
Oh my gosh, not even just selling it, like manufacturing.
That is just across the street from a church and a school. Yeah, right across the street was also a Bennigan's.
Oh, a Bennigan's.
Oh,
There was
wow.
a church
They were selling heroin out the back door.
We didn't have
on
any,
Main Street. There was a Bennigan's, and then across was Wally's, and they were selling. If I only would have known.
we didn't have any Bennigans here, did we?
No,
I don't think so. Chicago.
That's one with the green on
Yeah, it
it.
was
Yeah.
like every other town except for us, I believe.
Well,
Police
yeah.
said powder cocaine and crack were seized in the raid.
What was the one that was in
Wow, the
Sunset Hills until recently?
Hula hands?
Fuddruckers?
Yeah, that's it.
Fuddruckers.
That was at Bennigan's.
Fuddruckers.
It was one of those.
I remember saying Fuddruckers when I was a little kid, thinking I was like cussing.
Yeah, you got to go slow.
Dude, this is wild. So police say the ice cream shop was used to process it.
Wow.
That's crazy. You probably got some cracked out.
It was great ice cream.
I bet.
You
I
liked
bet it was as you wipe your nose.
I read the bases so fast. I gotta go play stickball.
You're like rubbing your teeth. Like,
Oh, yeah, all
Shall
the
we
kids-
say addictive? Did you start thinking about ice cream the next morning?
Yeah, after a Little League win, it's like, oh, let's go to Wally's.
Yeah.
We've already been twice today.
Bunch of little kids,
I just got this feeling.
lips sticking to their gums.
Best ice cream ever. Wow, it's so dry.
Hey, man. Hey, brother.
You got an Elvis Presley.
Hey, brother,
Wally's
I'm
ice
willing to
cream
give you a
parlor.
handy for some ice cream. Okay, this is out of control, Wally's. We got people offering up sexual favors
This
to
is
get them some
cash
ice
only.
cream. This is bad. What's in this?
And it was a little
Stand?
Like it was next to a gas station. It was like a little wooden.
Oh, it was a stand?
It was-
not even something like this.
It was-
Dairy Haven where it's got the overhang?
No, it did. It
Like Ted Drew's.
yes, it was a standalone, but it was way smaller than
Yeah.
Ted
Right.
Drew's.
There was no inside.
No,
It was just
you'd
a
order from the window.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Wally's.
No
Which is
room
how it-
inside. They're cooking crack.
Yeah, because the crack was being made in there.
Got to keep crack cold, baby.
I mean,
This is where we make the crack.
kind of a brilliant move. You know, they got this place. There's no traffic coming in or out. There's no, nobody's gonna see in there or any of that kind of
Kids
stuff.
everywhere.
Kids
No
everywhere.
inspection.
Yeah, it's the last place you'd expect a crack manufacturing facility.
We ever make homemade ice cream? The salt kind of looks like crack cocaine, you know? It's a big old crack one.
Yeah.
Man, it really
Big old
is.
salt. So, perfect disguise.
Good point. I feel like every movie, the ice cream truck driver is either a hitman, a murderer, or a crack dealer. Maybe it's just true.
You think Ice Cream Man from Van Halen is based on Wally's?
Maybe.
I'm your ice cream man.
I don't know. The bust was in 2011, so. And this was everybody who was from that area was like, oh, whoa.
Knew it.
Whoa! No, never suspected
just
it,
kidding.
Scott. Never suspected. Of all the places,
I bet you every one of you.
Wally's.
Every one of you probably went, are they still going to serve ice cream?
Yeah, I wonder if they're still open.
Are they closing it down?
You have to close the ice cream part, do they?
Hear me out. Crack is whack, but ice cream is the dream.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, big changes are coming to Missouri's public schools because they just passed a bill that, if the governor signs it, will require every school district in the state to create a policy banning cell phone use. So this is happening. From the first bell to the last bell, no cell phones. That means no phones in class, no phones in the cafeteria, no phones during study hall, or even in the hallways between classes. That's it.
What do you think about it?
I think it's good. I really do love.
I have a mixed feeling about it. I am 100% for not in classrooms.
I like having access to the kids, being able to communicate throughout the day if there's something going on, or hey, what time's the game today? That kind of stuff. But I could do without it if it benefits the kids, and I think it would.
We've
benefit the
survived without doing it. I mean, for many, many years. This is a fairly within the last 10, 15 years thing.
Yeah.
And, do you talk to any teacher, and they'll say the biggest distraction are phones in the class. And in fact, one of the state representatives who used to be a teacher explained that phones were the #1 distraction in her classroom. And supporters say these new rules, it's all about, helping kids focus and learn. And she believes that banning them all day will help kids pay attention, participate more, and it's going to be a quick improvement. Like, we're going to see this ban next year, and we'll start seeing the results pretty much immediately. Is what they're hoping. I don't know. All day, let them have it. Maybe during lunch. I mean, listen, I'm okay with this. I'm also okay with, hey, we have a hard and fast, ban on them for the hallways and classrooms, but.
Maybe cafeteria.
Maybe cafeteria. That's it. During lunch break, that's it.
It's still kind of a great spot to really learn how to communicate and all that in person. I think it's an important place to keep sacred.
Maybe create a phone lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where they can go in for small amount. You know what I mean? Have a monitor in there and be like, that way if they need to go in there and call their parents or text their parents or something, because that's going to be the big pushback. It's like, well, I need to be able to get a hold. Parents are going to have a hard time with it. Not being able to get a hold of their kids. I feel like parents are going to push back on this a little bit.
Well, and that was the big pushback. It wasn't the kids like, I need to get a hold of my parents. It was the parents going, I need to get a hold of my kids. But we had survived so long without.
Yeah, call the office.
If my mom needed to get in touch with me for some reason, she'd call the office and they'd go, Scott, come to the office. You have a phone call.
And that was the best announcement.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was so fun because they'd come into the room and be like, come here.
You had a
was it? Then it would be somebody who died.
Yeah, I never got a call.
I never got a phone. I never got a good phone call.
Oh, I did. My mom was like, "Hey, do you want me to bring you McDonald's for lunch?"
Get out of here! You had a mom that brought you food.
Jill was driving a Trans Am.
Get out of here!
Hottest part of her life. Are you kidding me?
Come on.
What do you want? McNuggets? Yes.
Jeez.
Oh,
cool mom. Get out of here,
dude. All the guys were in love with my mom in 6th grade. That woman was rolling in with her T-tops off and her freaking Happy Meal coming in with a Coke.
Is this pre-Jerry?
Is that slang?
Of course it was pre-Jerry. She was ramping up to find Jerry. She's buying her clothes from Victoria's Secret.
Honey, here's your Wallies.
Yes, she was looking for a new man to father me. What's up, Mr. Hopkins?
Seems like after lunch, Lern is very energetic. Her mom brought her Wallies ice cream.
Now, the bill does allow for some exceptions. For example, if a kid needs a phone for a medical or big umbrella educational reason, schools can make accommodations, and each district will decide how to handle the rule breakers. Some schools in Missouri already have, tried these cell phone bans, usually after parents pushed for the change. For example, Normandy, the Normandy Schools Collaborative went so far as to ban kids from even bringing phones onto school property.
Okay.
Parkway School District recently passed rules that keep elementary and middle schoolers off their phones all day. Not everybody sold in this idea. National surveys show most people support banning phones in class, but far fewer think students should have to go all day without being able to check their phones, even during lunch. Still, a lot of teachers say this is worth it for the focus, for the boost in the focus and the drop in distractions. And Florida and Utah, they already have similar phone bans. Now, that's not the only big change in this bill, though. Schools will also, will have to step up safety with new emergency response plans and security measures like anti-intruder locks and bullet-resistant windows.
Speaking of bullet-resistant windows, Alex in the chat brings up a good point. Yeah, we didn't have the issue of phone use, but you also didn't have the issue of mass school shootings.
Well, and this is what included in the bill are things, more safety measures, more emergency response plans,
that's good.
and other things to go along to try to.
I hate that
appease that
kids got that we have to have the drills and that we have to have all these precautions. I hate that, and I understand why that would be the number one reason parents want to be able to get in touch with their kids, and the kids want to get in touch with their parents.
Well, you got to weigh the distractions and the kids not focusing in class, or the very slim chance of there being an emergency like that. And I think the bill does try to.
Well, I hope it wouldn't embolden crazy people to shoot up a place now that they know that phones are going away. Scary.
Listen.
They were already with phones being there or not.
Well,
they're dingleberries no matter what's going to happen.
I'm not sure if you're anywhere near there that a phone ban in a class is going to be a deterrent or not. Right?
Well, we all can agree that, kids are on their phones all the time, and it's a distraction.
100%.
Yeah. Well, I saw
every teacher I know is like, can you imagine? Remember how distracted we were in the 80s? Can you imagine giving every one of them the most addictive device we've seen in 200 years?
Yeah, there was a video making the rounds on socials of a teacher who quit after just doing it for like 5 or 6 years because...
Oh, I saw that. It's recent.
Where she breaks down why, like, how kids quickly, within like a minute, they already lose the attention span and
Sucks.
all that. Yeah, so this is good. This is a benefit.
Well, so that'll be in the 2026-2027 school year. So that's not next year. It's a year after then.
Yeah, I guess so.
2026, 27.
Yeah.
So that's not next year. So
it'll start
so
January
the school
1,
ends here. The school ends this month, and
It's
then
25, 26.
Okay, so next
26, 27.
next year.
You know what's kind of exciting, though, with this, and if I could just bring some optimism to the young people listening, notes will be back. Writing notes. I was talking to my niece about this. She's a sophomore, and I go, hey, does anybody, like, write notes to each other anymore? And, like, you know, quizzes and all.
Oh, passing notes?
Passing notes. And she said that it's very minimal, but sometimes it does happen. And I'm like, oh, yes, let's bring back the notes. I remember, were you guys like this? Probably not. You would get notes and you would keep them. I had like a box.
Nobody
full of
wrote
the
me
drama.
notes. Nobody wrote me any notes.
Really? Guys, you didn't have any dudes that, like, wrote you a note?
No.
I was like, hey, you know who's hot today? Cheryl.
No.
Oh.
Or girls asking.
Nobody passed me any notes. No girls passed
Oh,
me notes.
man.
You
You
ever
would
got the
fold
yes
them
or
all
no?
cool. Oh, it was the best.
Check yes or no.
Yeah, man.
Nobody wrote me notes.
Rafe, did anybody? Rafe,
Unless
you
it was,
definitely had notes
unless it
written
was,
to you.
leave me alone. Here's a note. No, why does this note say leave me alone?
You had to pass the note. Sometimes you had to, and there was like an implied communal trust that went into the note passing. It's also like a kind of a risky maneuver. If you think about it, like you can fire off a text. It's going right to the recipient. This is a text that had to go through channels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could risk it gets in the wrong. It gets in Blake's hands. He might stand up and read it in front of the whole class.
If you know, if
Somebody gets
Lern
busted.
if I'm writing a note to Lern, and you know she's 4 seats in front of me.
Oh, yeah,
that's got to go through.
And somebody's going to intercept and pass it around at recess.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it never happened in high school. I mean,
yeah.
I never saw notes in high school, I don't think. But I definitely remember them in elementary school. In fact, I'm sort of embarrassed to admit this. This one gal, we met up on our bikes, and she wrote me this note. And, guys, 4 pages, front and back.
Love her.
But I still remember it vividly. Like blue ink, super bubbly writing, and it was hard to read
God,
because
it's so good to get one of those though.
Yes.
it was
A girl's writing.
dude, it was the greatest. It even like smelled like a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like this very different thing.
No girls wrote me notes.
It was like this thing that entered my universe that had never entered my universe before. And I remember thinking how awesome this was and how not into the gal I was because she was such a poor speller. I remember thinking like,
Bummer.
I feel like I'm
Everybody
being
was
written a
poor at
note by a
spelling back
kindergartner.
Yeah.
It was like I still remember committing that to memory. Going,
No,
I can't
nobody
date.
wrote me
I
notes.
can't
The only-
date Melissa.
Dang it.
The only note you would get would be in your cubby, and it was the invitation for somebody's birthday party.
And that was cool,
And
too.
that was cool as hell.
Oh yeah.
Roller party?
Did no one just
Roller
write you
rink?
notes, or was there no note passing going on?
Maybe there was note passing going on, and I wasn't included.
I'm so sorry
You
that you
weren't?
didn't have that experience.
We'll
Yo.
start sending you some throughout the show.
Somebody
too.
write me a note.
It would suck sometimes. You get to the bottom of the note from a girl, and it'd be like, "I'm really into Brian."
Is that okay?
Can you say something to him for me? And I'm like, "Oh man, I didn't know I thought this was to me."
And I'm pretty sure if I had to be a passer, I'm like, hey, pass this in front.
Oh, there were people that
I'm
were,
reading it.
Yeah, yeah.
or there were people
I'm
that
gonna
were
be a
like
dick.
dicks about it.
Yeah.
No. Shut up and pass the note, dude. This
No,
is
I'll
this
pass
is
it.
us against them.
I'll
This is
pass it.
prison situation.
But
You don't get to.
the tax is me reading it.
Yeah, these,
Yeah, that's exactly right.
freaking narcs.
There's a toll.
There was nothing like the quiz.
There were narcs you wouldn't pass too. They
Yeah.
would just like slap your hand away and make a big ruckus while the teacher's writing on the chalkboard.
So lame.
I'm like, you know what, dude? You just made the list.
If you
Heather,
like,
guess what, Heather? Mrs. Simpson's not your best friend, okay?
Yeah. Stop protecting Mrs. Simpson.
I really like you. If
Excuse
you like
me, I
me
wanna
too,
learn.
meet me
Circle.
by the slide.
I did get
yeah.
caught one time, man, and this was such a bad move by the teacher. Made me get up in front of the class and read the note. And it was a note to a girl, and it was like a love note, of course. You know, or like I like you note. And then, you know, dude, I was in junior high, and I'm like, pits are sweating, and I'm like, oh my God. It took so much courage to send this note privately.
Yeah.
That of course I got up and you start going into like what your little kid, like you're trying to mitigate the embarrassment. So you're like, I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
Right.
You know, and then I read it, and it's like, Sarah, I think you're so pretty. Sarah, I think, well, so now she's sitting there, eyes welling up with tears because I said it was a joke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the teacher put me on the spot, and I'm just trying to, like, mitigate the embarrassment for myself, not thinking. So then I had to go apologize to her later and be like, it wasn't a joke. I was embarrassed. It's just like, I thought it was a bad move.
Remember what grade that was?
Oh, junior high. Like the worst time of your life.
I remember, you know, passing a note.
6th grade, 7th grade, probably.
5th grade to Michelle Cormier, who had no tear ducts, and saying that I liked her, and she said no, and she wrote.
And she started crying, like right then.
She took the origami football and just flicked it and was like, absolutely not.
Very dry eyes.
She had no tear ducts.
She moved away.
Poor thing.
To a wetter
She took that
climate.
note home to her parents, and they put their house up for sale.
I want to be homeschooled.
Well, she lives underneath Niagara Falls now because of the moisture.
Mommy,
That's
That's smart.
Mommy, the shinless boy gave me this note today.
And I don't want to go to school
Honey,
anymore.
we're putting the house up.
Shinless.
Call Remax.
The shinless boy with the girl with no tear ducts.
I think it was a note that started it for me that ended up at the rollercade. Like Jonelle wrote a note, and I was like, oh, I think she likes me too. This is okay to invite her to the rollercade. And then Jonelle and Megan came to my birthday party at the rollercade.
Hey, and you know what? Speaking of
Changed my life.
birthday
Wow.
parties,
I was too embarrassed to talk to her. Didn't say a word to her the entire time.
That's okay.
But she was there.
So I was reading. So this mom went on some blog, and it's causing controversy. Listen, ever feel like, and if you got kids, you can feel me on this. Ever feel like the weekends just slip by in a blur of errands and obligations, and you know, somebody's going here, somebody's going there, and you got to coordinate schedules, and it's crazy. Sometimes the weekends are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
One mom is putting her foot down. Are you guys passing notes to each other?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No,
and
I'm
Rafe.
eating my Tums, my morning Tums. Excuse me. Thank you for calling me out. Yes, I have belly issues.
Get up in front of the class. Tell
Well,
us
the way you were looking, it looked like something naughty was going on, and I don't
Something
like
naughty
it.
is going on, okay? It's indigestion.
Anyway, so one mom, she's
Rizz is a loser. We passed it back and forth.
I know.
check yes if Rizz is a loser. Yeah,
Check
okay.
yes if Rizz is a huge loser. And it's only one big box that says yes on it.
So this mom, she's putting her foot down as far as, hey, I'm not going here, I'm not going there. Weekends are sacred family time. Her children are not allowed to go to other kids' birthday parties that are on the weekend.
Gross.
Right? She talked about this hard and fast rule. She wants her kids to grow up with a sense of routine and togetherness. So for her, weekends are all about her family, the family of 4, being together, hiking, hanging out, just relaxing. She's not opposed to the occasional party, but it's only if it's after on a Sunday, after all their family stuff is done.
Huh.
If
I don't like it.
if it conflicts with their usual plans, nope. Doesn't that suck for their kids?
It does. I don't like that at all.
I don't like it at all.
Kids should be allowed to make memories with their friends when they're,
But not on the weekends.
when it's the weekend. And I just, oh, I'm kidding. Okay.
She wrote Rizz a loser.
I didn't. Rafe wrote it.
Rizz a loser.
And
check.
I checked it.
Yes.
Well, I put one box that was giant with yes and a tiny little no box that you can't read on the side.
I'm getting so many notes from dudes right now. This is high school all over again. I
Stop
love
with
it.
it. Stop
Give me
passing
it.
notes.
Give me that, Scott. What does that say?
Stop passing notes.
Sorry. No, the kids should be
Get at
allowed.
it. No notes anymore. Of course the kids should be able to go to parties.
This is their little life. This is their little social life that builds them up to be better adults
Yeah,
one
and
day.
they can't drive yet, and mom's got to take them.
Yeah, you're holding your kids hostage.
Yeah. For whatever selfish experiment you got going on, Mom.
What were their total justification?
It was weekends are for it's family time.
There were families like that when I was growing up. That would kids had to stay home quite a bit. Not always, but
So if Rafe, you had a party,
couldn't stay the
a
night.
birthday party, and I invited you to I invited you. It was my birthday, and you're like, I can't go because
I'm grounded, probably.
No, it's on Saturday at 1:00, and it's family time.
Be so sad.
Imagine
Sucks.
that. That sucks.
It's weird that it's Saturday too. Usually that was a Sunday thing.
What, a kid's birthday?
No, if you were going to have like Our family day is Sunday. We spend Sunday together. We go to church and we go to lunch, and then we get prepared for Monday, and we all hang out and watch America's Funniest Home Videos or whatever you're.
If there was any pushback, it'd be a Sunday. But this woman, for whatever weird social, my kids are going to be weird when they get older, experiment she's doing, you're depriving your kids of some. I mean, great memories.
Character building. It's not. Kids need to play, right? Like science shows that kids need to have interaction with other kids and be able to kind of have a personality, and it's not in the school setting and not at home, like with just their friends, and it helps them be better people.
So finally, when I get to let loose with my buddies, not in a school setting, I got to hike with my family.
Right. Can't even bring your friend.
I understand the importance of that. I understand the importance of that, and I understand the importance of family time.
Every weekend, like I can imagine. I mean, we used to. We haven't done it as much as anymore, but we used to take the kids on hikes all the time. Every couple weekends, we'd go somewhere special. And, if friends were welcome or whatever, but every weekend locking them down, that's very strange.
Because we have to do family things?
Yeah, very strange.
That's very strange.
You're kind of teaching, it's like the Catholic school kid. Like, I know a lot of Catholic school kids that are like anti-church, and it really has nothing to do with spirituality or church or any of that. It's just because they had no choice in the matter and had to do, whatever it was that's involved with certain school, they like rebelled against it. So if you're locking them down for family time, you might be kind of setting them up to not be stoked on family.
Well,
at least for a period.
And the mom says, her attitude is this: every family has to figure out what matters most to them. For her, it's about making memories and building bonds that last. Here's the thing. Kid gets back to school on Monday and said, "Oh, dude, Pat's party was great." And you're like, "Oh, no, I was out.
I beat my mom at Chinese checkers."
Yeah.
Great. Get out of here, dork.
Right.
And that's going to start to build resentment.
Well, I mean, yeah, unless you're doing something every single weekend.
This is also like the no sleepover rule that we talked about last year, where parents were saying, we're not doing sleepovers because of the liability of my kids getting touched by somebody. This is like that on an extreme level, like not just no sleepovers anymore. Now it's no friend time at all during our free time.
Well, during our what is to be perceived as family time.
Right.
Yeah, you're saying it's a lockdown labeled as family time.
It's like overprotective to the max a little bit, even if that's not necessarily the motive here. If you want more family time, I understand that. Maybe you need to connect.
It
better
sounds
with
like
your kids,
a mom that's obsessed with her kids, that she's going to have a very tough time with these kids. As soon as they turn 18 and are able to leave the house, got to get the hell away from the psycho.
Yeah.
I got to get out. I got to get away from this woman. I got to get away from her.
You're also making yourself the entertainment coordinator for 48 hours a weekend. You know what I mean? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And at some point, we're not supposed to be the entertainment directors for our kids. They're supposed to be the entertainment directors for themselves. That's why when they say that they're bored, let them loose. Go outside. Figure it out. We're all susceptible to boredom, but like you can't be bored if you're living. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get out there, dude.
Yeah,
like,
your bike.
Figure it out.
You also got to teach them, to Lern's point, the social structures. And like you go into those parties weren't always awesome. Sometimes you'd go to one, you'd be like, that sucked, something, but
Right. You're crying.
You got to have the risk of like going out, learning how to negotiate like the social strata.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be an unforeseen consequence of the cell phone thing you talked about earlier, I would imagine, is like bullying's gone down in school. And if you take all the phones away, I'm curious if it's going to go back up.
Oh.
Because I feel like it's taking the heat off the nerds a little bit.
Because the bullies are distracted.
Yeah, I was looking I looked it up while we were talking, and it was like in 12 to 18% reported being bullied in 2022. In 2010, it was 30%.
Oh, dang.
So it went down almost 20%. As far as self-reporting of bullying, and take
Yeah,
the phones away from the bullies.
It either
Now,
means
what kind of bullying? Physical or
I don't know.
There's cyberbullying.
I think
Well,
it might.
take the cyber away. It's going to go back to physical.
That number is a scary number because I think what that means is that there's more nerds now in schools than cool guys. That's sad.
You want to look at it that way?
Yeah.
You want to look at it that way?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. I think this mom is making a very big parenting mistake here, and she's depriving. Where's the dad?
Do you think
Where
she's
is Dad?
actually?
What does he got to say about this? He's got no say.
I'm also curious
Yes,
if she's
honey.
actually doing any kind of event planning or if it's just because I had had friends like that. Sometimes my family was like that, where they'd be like, "You're staying home this weekend, family time," and then we didn't do jack squat. And I go, "This is prison."
Sucks.
It's not like we were finger painting together. You just stuck me out. You just wouldn't let me leave the yard.
I understand, like, if every weekend is filled with stuff and like, hey, you know what? This
Right.
Saturday, we're hanging out together.
And I'm curious if that's happening. If she's like, I've got a whole weekend planned for us.
This
we're going to
is
the zoo.
every weekend.
That's what I mean. Unless she's the entertainment director and taking it upon herself to entertain them for 48 hours every single weekend on this lockdown, it's just a lockdown.
Yeah,
It's
That's
a lock in.
that's what I had was lockdown.
Have you ever done that? Like,
Don't.
be like, hey, this weekend we're all hanging out at least one day, one of the days.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we used to go on trips.
That's
here.
how I do it. Or my wife.
We used to go on like
Yelling.
little weekend trips or day trips. You know, like we live in a good area for that. There's a lot of stuff to do within 2.5 hours. Elephant Rock, Silver Mines, all these different places. Johnson Shut-ins. We would do that seasonally. And then like sometimes we would do something for a weekend. But I mean, these days the kids are older. One has a license, so they're kind of all over the place.
Right.
And the only time I've like enforced anything a little bit is when the daughter's like, "Can I go here? Can I go here? Can I go here? Can I go here?" And she'll do it for like 17 weekends in a row. And at some point, I'm like, "Hey, man, why don't you sleep in your bed tonight and do whatever? But like, let's make our home base just for a minute." And it's just so she's not. I'm never. I mean, in a couple of years, I'm not going to see her very much.
Every once in a great while, I will have we haven't hung out in a while, and I'll call a family meeting.
Right. Exactly. That's what I mean.
Bully your kids. You're like, "Listen, we're hanging out this weekend." You slap the phone out of your daughter's hand, give your son a wedgie up over his head,
Yeah.
and then go out in the garage.
You can
and put
imagine
on-
it. You can imagine it. I'll say to my wife, I'll go, "Hey, we need to call a family meeting." And I'm like, "Hey, everybody get in the kitchen." And
get on the intercom
The boy, comes from the basement, and the girl, I hear the room door open.
She emerges with like face full of makeup because she's like experimenting with eyeliner.
Right. She's got a little vanity. She's like, "What do you want?" Hey,
Your kid won't cuss, so he's like, "What the flip?"
between hockey and between cheer and this person's social life and that person's social life, I go, "Hey, make no plans for Saturday.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
I go, "Hey,
They do have plans.
make no plans for Saturday. We're all hanging out.
I already made plans.
What are we doing? I don't know, but we're doing it together." And then everybody winds up fighting, and we all wind up going our separate ways anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts, Scott.
Yeah,
I like that you like to call a family meeting. That's nice. You care about your family.
A little effort is made.
A little bit.
It never works out. But
It never works
you make
out.
the effort. I'm
Like,
with
hey,
you,
we're
dude.
playing Uno tonight, and that never ends well.
No, it does not.
Do you have the family meetings in your conference room, or where's it at in your
It's
house?
in the kitchen, Scott, which
kitchen?
is the heart of the house.
Okay, that's good.
It's
I'm
the
with
heart
you.
of my house.
I'm surprised you can even see your children at your house. Your house is so big.
Yes, yes.
They drive their
One
golf
comes
carts
from
down
the
the
West
hallways.
Wing. One
Yes.
comes from.
On their mopeds.
You summon the girl. She comes on a Segway.
I have to go to the intercom.
Yeah.
There's a solid 2-3 years there where we were doing Friday movie night for this exact reason, because it all just falls apart in teenage. Once the teenage years hit, your schedules are so insane.
This is why we went to Disney.
We're calling family meetings just to see everybody.
This is why we went to Disney World. Because
So-
I'm only 16 and he's going to go to college. We're never going to be able to vacation again together. All right, today's Team Rizz Remember the Day is brought to us by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, official sports bar of the Rizz Show and home to St. Louis sports fans since 1990. From Livingston, Illinois, Katie Lowe is
Yeah,
our
Katie.
Katie has been a loyal listener forever. Her husband is also a Team Rizz member. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice. We got another set. Nice.
This is good.
I feel like when we get that, that, what was it, Garbage Pail Kids, you get the set. Like you open up packs and you're hoping to get a set of, you finally got the other card to complete the set.
And it brings peace to that home.
Katie loves everything about the show. She loves all the games, loves Match Up with Moon, and she likes when we all get into it.
Nice.
Katie Lowe from Livingston is our Team Rizz Remember the Day. Get super sweet Team Rizz Remember the Day soccer jersey. Get yourself signed up, 1057thepoint.com/Team Rizz. All right, it's 7:12. Crap on celebrities after the break. We got a couple guests coming in today. Steve-O is still in the parking lot.
That is awesome.
A giant-ass RV in the parking lot. And by the way, it is an urban camo. And driving it all past the station this morning, I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
Me too.
It did blend in.
It worked. It worked on me.
Chris Kerber, live in studio also.
Nice.
Around 8 o'clock. First look at the traffic and weather.
I just got an email from Steve-O. Let's see. Oh, he wants Plain Fest tickets.
Oh.
Well, good. He's got his buddy
guy.
Moon. What you got?
The Celebrity People's Court. A lot of updates. Good news, Foo Fighters fans. Guess who's playing Jesus and Dracula? And how much for that song?
How much for that song? All right, we got that. We got your crappy birthdays. We got the porno birthday. And, Scott, somebody is lobbying for Weird Al to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We'll tell you who. We'll give you the details next. Stay there. All right, welcome back to the program. Phone number 314-624-3833 or 618-398-3833. The Mick Ultra Studio Cams, 1057thepoint.com/Rizz. The Coleman's Campers text line, 314-649-DUMB. Emails RizzShow1057thepoint.com. Of course, your instant feedback through the 1057 The Point mobile app. So, Weird Al Yankovic, does he deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
100%.
100%.
100% yes, in my mind, too. Lern?
I'm so sorry, Scott, but I'm going to say no.
It's a no from you.
Yeah,
And you're wrong. Tell us why you're wrong.
Because, I mean, we complain when any other type of artist besides a rock artist gets in, and he is parodizing. He's doing parody of music that wasn't originally his. And is it fine? Yeah. Do I love it? No. So, no, I'm going to say no. Hard
Okay.
opinion. Hard take.
Wow.
Rafe Williams.
I'll straddle the fence, but say yes. I would be in between two camps. She has a good point that it is all parody. It's essentially a little it's like putting a cover band in a way. But I think that he's transcended that art form as well to where he does deserve it. I think he's transcended
100%.
like your typical parody songs.
He's the guy. He is the alpha.
He is the man, and and I think that he is a talented musician. So
Not only talented musician, lyricist as well, to put all those parodies together for so many years, to tour the world like he has, to bring joy with music to so many people, to introduce people to songs that they would not otherwise even know.
But that's the point right there. And I'm sorry, Scott. That's the point right there. I mean, Coolio's not going to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but you're having Weird Al get in. It's like, to me, it's making a mockery of the actual art that was originally made.
Well, here's
for the artists that won't get in.
Wholeheartedly
Here's
disagree with
one
that
of the
statement.
reasons that I think he deserves it is because for a kid like me, I knew country music real well. I grew up on that, or Nat King Cole, stuff like that. But Weird Al was the one who I had no clue who the Red Hot Chili Peppers were, Nirvana, or any of that kind of stuff. And he introduced me to all that. But it was like that great introduction where you start falling in love with rock and roll because he was doing rock and roll. Plus, he wrote a ton of, most of his albums, there's only a handful of parodies, and the rest of the album's all originals. Anyways.
Yeah, but
And he's got his
with all
first
due
top
respect
10.
to Weird Al, he's not known for his originals. He's known for the parody songs. So whether it be, Michael Jackson or Nirvana or Coolio, and you can't deny his cultural impact.
For sure, and I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that, no, I don't think that he deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
40-year successful touring and record career, sold more records than probably, I would bet you, half of the people that are in the hall. I'm wondering what the amount of people that are in the Hall of Fame that did not write songs. Because he's written at least 25% of every one of those releases, being that he changes the lyrics completely. And if they would just change lyrics that were garbage, it wouldn't be as much. So there's a skill set that's going in there, not just with performing, singing, touring, selling, but also writing. And I think that's impossible to deny.
And to do it that long where you have, his career's been incredible, and he just had his first top 10 on his last album.
And as you mentioned, he's much more rock and roll. He's done more rock and roll than probably a good percentage of people that are in there, which is a lot of people's complaint.
I love Weird Al, and he was part of my childhood, and
Sure.
and I think he's deserving. He's part of a lot of people's childhoods. his even worse record. I mean, I played the hell out of that thing. John Mulaney, who you're a big fan of, Lern,
Yeah.
he is really championing the cause to get him into the Rock Hall. John Mulaney is not shy about his love for Weird Al. He says that Weird Al has helped bring more people into the world of music than most people realize. In fact, John Mulaney says that as a kid, he was actually intimidated by Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. And he says it wasn't until he heard Weird Al's Smells Like Nirvana did he really start to appreciate Nirvana.
I was going to say that earlier. I feel like he was kind of a pop music curator. Like whatever would end up on his album would kind of tell kids, like, go check these bands out.
Right.
Yeah.
In some ways.
He's kind of the Pee Wee Herman of it. Like, I bet you there was a lot of people that did not consider Pee Wee Herman as comedy. Like, he's not a comedian. He's not this. He's not that. And then the show blows up and this and that. And I don't think anybody would say that he doesn't deserve his just desserts in comedy. And
John Mulaney says that Weird Al was his way into understanding and enjoying rock music.
That was yeah. I like what he said.
And despite all of Weird Al's success, and despite naysayers like Lern, because maybe naysayers like Lern, Weird Al's never even made it close to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Give him a Kennedy Center Honors. I think he deserves that.
He needs to be
he
in
deserves the Mark Twain Award or whatever. I love it.
Let's do the Mock and Roll Hall of Fame and put him in that.
I don't like it.
I'd push back on that.
So the Rock Hall chairman, his name is John Sykes. He admitted that while Weird Al, is a genius and his brilliance is recognized, he's still not considered a front runner for induction. So in an interview back in 2004, he says that it is unlikely he will make it onto the ballot. He says Weird Al has come up in conversations. He's a genius. He's made brilliant versions of the songs, but he says, I'll be honest, he's never made it close to the ballot. And John Mulaney's like, this needs to change.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say people on my side of the fence would maybe argue that you start doing this, you're making it's a joke. Like, it's a joke of not true musicianship. I think what he does is
So what you're saying is
fine,
music,
but-
so rock has to be serious?
No, it
all
doesn't
the
have to be
time?
serious, but I think it needs to come from. We need to have some gravity in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think letting other genres get in was like already a slippery slope of. Even though we have that argument every year and it's worn out, I understand people that complain about it, but I also think there's tastemakers that are of different genres that when you think of rock and roll as like a way of life or however they describe it to justify different genres getting in, we either need to change the name of it to incorporate all these different
but Weird
musicians
Al
and then
is
maybe
rock.
Weird Al can be in. I don't know. I just don't think it makes sense.
My biggest argument for it would be this year's induction of Chubby Checker. Because I'm like, he didn't write the twist. Name a second Chubby Checker song.
Twist again.
Twist again.
It is.
It had cultural impact,
He
but I'm
capitalized
like,
on that.
He capitalized on the whole twisting situation.
but
that
because,
feels like
because the name is known and the song is played at weddings.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like we are letting novelty in, right? So if Weird Al's a novelty act, he did it as well as Chubby Checker.
I think I don't think he's a novelty.
I don't
act.
think he's a novelty.
Because like
I think
Moon said,
that's
I'm saying
really-
if you
really
if
reductive.
you concede that point, we're already letting novelty acts in with Chubby Checker. To me, like I'm not saying the twist isn't a great song, but like that, it had its time culturally. But Chubby Checker's not like.
So you remember-
There's no Chubby Checker greatest hits album.
Right.
So come on, baby, let's do the twist. And then his other song, Twist Again, is Let's Twist Again.
Yeah. Sucks. He
Like
shouldn't be in
we did
either.
last summer.
Well,
Sorry, guys.
again, Weird Al's not close, but we now have John Mulaney in our corner. And,
Good luck.
If something needs to be signed, a petition, I will put my name down.
let's
Hey,
see if
Tom-
Mulaney will run for the head of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It's all good.
Weird Al should open a parody Hall of Fame next door
There you go.
to the Rock and Roll Hall
I
of
love
Fame,
it.
where he inducts himself first.
Mock and
Yeah.
roll. Is that what one of you
Yeah,
said?
the
The
Mock
Mock
and
and
Roll,
Roll
yeah.
Museum. That is a great idea, actually.
To be honest, I think time will tell. I think he'll be in it.
I think he'll be in too.
Yeah, I'm not.
He will.
Honestly, I'm not worried. Like, I think all the accolades, all the stats, all the metrics have been covered. He's just getting cheated for however long, but he'll be in.
I think it's one of these, meh, we're not letting him in, and I'm not changing my mind.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Because you're letting radio.
And I'm not, regardless of the facts of the matter, meh, I'm not changing my
We're not changing
mind.
anything. Meh.
Can't radio personalities get into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, radio stations can.
There are side. What do they call them? Side something. There's like a whole category. It's
Yeah.
like performers and non-performers. Sidemen is what it's called.
I tried to get Casey in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like back in 2016. I did like a whole petition before our 50th, and I got in touch with a curator. I had a petition going where hundreds of people signed it. I sent them. They asked for artifacts of Casey, and because they were redoing the entire radio wing of the Rock Hall, which is very simple anyway. I sent them all of this cool stuff, and the curator ended up leaving. And then it went completely dead. So I don't even know what they're doing up there.
Where's the stuff?
Exactly. It's in their archives. They have an archive of all the stuff that isn't on display that they like swap out sometimes. And
So you sent over Sammy Hagar's panties?
Sammy Hagar's panties, like this really iconic photo of Fleetwood Mac back in the Crestwood days, some old merch from the 60s and 70s.
So it's somewhere.
It's somewhere. And then it just went completely dead.
All right, today is May the 14th. Back in the day, 49 years ago, 1976, former Yardbird singer Keith Relf electrocuted and died at his home. Now, legend has it he was tuning his guitar in his bathtub. That's a legend. That he was actually in his basement playing that guitar using a poorly grounded amp.
I got zapped by an amp before, and it was.
Boy, there's. Have you ever seen the
bad.
video of Ace Frehley from Kiss getting zapped by his amp?
No.
Or zapped by his guitar while
On
performing?
stage?
Yeah.
I have seen that.
Is he in makeup?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whoops.
Oh, yeah. 43 years ago, 1982, The Clash releases Combat Rock, featuring Should I Stay or Should I Go and Rock the Casbah. 36 years ago, 1989, Family Ties airs its final episode after 7 years on NBC. 33 years ago, 1992, Lyle Alzado, an Oakland Raider who became an actor after his playing career, died of brain cancer at 43. Now, he claimed his cancer was caused by steroids. He was one of the first athletes to actually admit to using them. 27 years ago, 1998, Seinfeld airs its final episode after 9 years on NBC. And what happened that same day? Seinfeld finale. Something happened that same day, that same night. And in fact, they said the streets were so clear that this person got to the hospital in record time.
Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra died that night. And they said he had a heart attack at the age of 82. And they said it was in Los Angeles. He got to the hospital so quick because nobody was on the road because they were watching the Seinfeld finale. Sinatra's last words were, "I'm losing." 22 years ago, 2003, Robert Stack, the guy whose deep voice and gravitas made Unsolved Mysteries so incredible, and he was in Airplane. He died of a heart attack at the age of 84. Let me see what else here. 19 years ago, 2006, The West Wing and Malcolm in the Middle both went off the air for good. Malcolm ran for 7 seasons on Fox. West Wing ran for 7 seasons on NBC. And 10 years ago today in 2015, B.B. King passed away at the age of 89. And that's what happened back in the day. All right, time to find out what's going on in the world of music and entertainment with your crap on celebrities.
And it's time for us to go to Celebrity People's Court.
Celebrity People's Court.
So as we know, as of yesterday, the Diddy trial is underway. There's been some testimonies. Cassie Ventura testified yesterday in the Diddy case about federal sex trafficking and all of this in their 11-year relationship. And according to Variety, she described enduring physical abuse and daily psychological abuse, including being dragged, kicked, and stomped by Diddy.
Some of the details, and I know we talked about some yesterday, but even more stuff came out yesterday.
Yes.
Whoa.
Wild.
Diddy... So he was paying guys to have sex with her, and he would just watch.
Yes.
And he would be like the director, and some of the stuff that he had these men do to his woman, I mean, just
Awful.
awful, degrading, horrible.
Cassie Ventura says, I felt disgusting. I was humiliated. I didn't have the words to put together at the time about how horrible I really felt and couldn't talk to anybody about it. She said she took drugs to cover up the pain and pain she was in. So she described some of the attacks that Diddy did to her. Punching her in the face, kicking her when she was down. We saw some of this footage in that tape that came out at the hotel from 2016. She also testified that Diddy controlled her music career, shelving her work despite a 10-album deal that she could have had.
She got with him when she was 22. 22 with a promising music career,
Yes.
and I guess promises of making her a big star.
And it lasted over 10 years of them being together.
And the abuse, I mean, and again, in court, they're like, yeah, we know he's an abuser, a domestic abuser. There's no doubt about that. That's even his defense saying that.
Right.
But we're not here for that.
Right. So the trial is expected to last up to 10 weeks. Continues in Manhattan federal court. And of course, he is facing charges on racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So more details are going to come.
And by
out.
the way, she's 8 months pregnant.
Right.
Really?
She's on the stand, I mean, pregnant. Not with his, but with, I think she's
married.
Married.
Wow.
Yeah, terrible. Kim Kardashian also testified in Paris court yesterday wearing $7 million in diamonds about the 2016 armed robbery where masked gunmen stole millions of dollars worth of jewelry from her hotel suite. She says, I was sure they were going to shoot me. She described how she was bound and they held a gun to her head. One of the defendants expressed regret, prompting Kardashian to respond, I do appreciate it. I forgive you, but it doesn't change the emotion, the feelings, and the trauma and the way that my life has changed. You know, her stylist was also staying with her in Paris at this time. And so these guys came in and they were dressed as police, French policemen. They came in and, I mean, the stylist's testimony is so scary. She talks about, this is Simone, she talks about how she could hear Kim Kardashian in the other room trying to negotiate with these guys saying, look, I have babies, I need to live. And that's what she just said. She said, take everything. I just need to get out of here. I just need to live for my kids.
Dang.
And she thought she was going to be raped. She thought she was going to be killed. And they made off with millions of dollars in her jewelry. It's just a wild case. Big news. Court's over, by the way.
Oh, court's over.
Thank you.
Court is adjourned.
Foo Fighters announced their first performance of 2025. I was thinking about this yesterday. You know, Dave Grohl has been out. He popped up with Jack Black. He was doing some drums for the Minecraft movie. He was also out with Post Malone, doing some of the Nirvana songs. We saw him do a little action at Coachella. Dave Grohl is like coming back to life out of this.
Slowly making his way back into the spotlight.
Into the spotlight. And I do have like, you know, I don't have this for fact, but you hear from sources that he and Jordan Bloom are working things out for their family. So they're doing
and again,
counseling.
this, of course, is after last year it coming out that he had an illegitimate kid with, you know, who did it wind up being with?
Some lady, some no-name, possibly adult actress that was out there. I don't think that was
I thought it was an
confirmed.
assistant.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it came out.
It was somebody like tied to the group, I thought.
Somebody in the circle.
Some blonde.
Yeah, right. Oh, was
In
it
the
blonde gal?
periphery.
Oh, man, I got it all wrong.
Was it on purpose or an accident?
I think it was on purpose. Okay. The Foo Fighters will be playing October 4th at the Singapore F1 Grand Prix, along with the likes of Elton John, the Smashing Pumpkins, and Baby Metal. So again, October 4th, that is the first Foo Fighters performance in a long time. And I think that's kind of promising that things are going better.
Damn.
What?
I just wrote Dave Grohl, Baby Mama.
Me too.
Did you get a name?
Jennifer Young, a 38-year-old rock and roll fan who resides in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And has Paul McCartney lyrics and a Metallica tattoo.
Nice.
So straight up
cool.
groupie.
He just needs to come back by doing music only. Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah, touring's going to be a lot different, I bet.
No interviews.
No podcasts. You don't need any of that. Just play.
Morgan Wallen, speaking of not talking, Morgan Wallen finally spoke out about his abrupt exit from SNL last month. As we all know, the cast members, the host, everybody, the musical guest at the end of the show, they all get together and hug each other and act like they like each other a lot. But Morgan Wallen left right away, caused a bit of a stir. And so here's some audio from a podcast that he was on recently talking about what happened that night.
Could you fix a TV if it was on SNL?
I could change it for sure.
Seriously. SNL, did they make you mad?
No, I was just ready to go home. I've been there all week.
You had to get your plane. Get me to God's country.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that music in the background?
It's like a parody
idea.
podcast where they're kind of making fun of the situation.
Oh, okay.
Caleb
I was
Presley.
like, who's doing this?
That's Caleb Presley?
Yeah, Caleb Presley's podcast.
His podcast is good.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Kind of long hair, mustache. If you saw the face,
You'd know his
you'd
face.
You'd know his face. You may not know who he is.
Are you sure? Why would I know his face?
He's just got a
'cause he's
distinctive
all over the
look.
place.
All over the place, and
He's in like a
can you
bazillion
say
commercials now, too.
anything more that gives me a clue as to?
One, you got to see his face.
Yeah, he's in
Just
a
look at
million
his face.
commercials.
I'm looking at his face, and I have zero knowledge of who this
Oh.
is. Why would I know this guy? You got to give me. You got to give me more.
Social media, darling.
Yeah. Is that?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he looks.
Okay. As a former quarterback.
His interviews are funny.
His interviews are good. He gets a lot of A-listers. He
Oh, okay.
he
Yeah, I don't-
seems like a very nice guy.
Ask the big, hard-hitting questions, you know?
Well, maybe.
All right.
Well, let me introduce you to Caleb Presley.
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
Caleb
look
Moon,
at his face.
Caleb.
Hey, Caleb.
In the 1990s, at a dinner party that was hosted by Elton John, Sylvester Stallone and Richard Gere almost got into a physical altercation.
What happened?
Well, what happened was they both wanted to get it on with Princess Diana. Now, according to Elton John's autobiography titled simply Me, Diana and Richard Gere were engrossed in conversation, which reportedly upset Sly. Okay? So,
Is
I
it
guess-
the gerbil thing.
no, it wasn't the gerbil thing. Sly Stallone just wanted to come over and date Diana, but Richard Gere was swooping up in there. And allegedly, Richard Gere and Sylvester Stallone were then in the kitchen, about ready to fist fight. David Furnish, who is the husband of Elton John, had to go in and intervene. And
Richard,
So-
settle down. Don't kick
Well,
his
the
ass.
Dick, settle
The
down.
rumor has it that Stallone is the one that started the Richard Gere rumor.
Sure.
Because of this?
Because of this.
No, they've been in a fight
They'd been in a fight before. It was from a movie set.
Lords of Flatbush.
Yeah, they
Richard
hated
Gere
each other.
dropped fried chicken on the seats of Stallone's new car, and they got in a fight in the middle of the car cab. And then they they didn't get along on the movie because he said Richard Gere was an antagonist, and then people say that Stallone may have started the gerbil rumor.
Yeah.
Well, Stallone denies this incident.
Vicious. Of all the fights that you would think that would never happen, it would be between those two.
Stallone,
Right.
well,
Some
the
sort of
fact that
beef.
Stallone versus Richard Gere, and Stallone, the legend of the Richard Gere gerbil.
Right. Which is what everybody thinks about when they think of Richard Gere.
That's Sylvester Stallone,
So he won
Rocky,
the
Rambo, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Right.
And they got into a
He
fight.
is the one that came up with that.
So he won the fight.
He did.
Well,
John Spartan.
Stallone denied the incident, calling it a complete fabrication. The story is highlighted in a book called Diana World, an Obsession, which explores Princess Diana's cultural impact and has all sorts of anecdotes with celebrities. Sarah Sherman is breaking her silence on that controversial White Lotus sketch on Saturday Night Live, where, she essentially was poking fun at the character with the lady with the big teeth. And
What's her name? It's
Amy...
something or other.
Miller, right?
Amy
no,
Miller.
No.
Is it Amy Miller?
No.
Winehouse.
No,
Not
but
Amy Winehouse.
she's got big chompers.
She's got big chompers. And
Beautiful, though, man.
She is really cute.
Beautiful woman.
And so afterward, Sarah Sherman spoke out denouncing, the way that it all was handled. She says, I effing obviously never meant to hurt anyone's feelings. She said, never in a million years did I get into comedy to make anyone upset. I feel terrible that anyone would feel bad. And she went on to say that she was excited to play her because she's so iconic. And her character, Chelsea, in White Lotus is so iconic.
Amy Lou Wood.
Amy Lou Wood. That's right.
I mean, so The White Lotus is one of the most popular shows on TV, and they're doing a parody of it.
Right. To be expected.
And her distinguishing feature is the big teeth.
Right.
Yeah.
Lighten up, Francis.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little slippery slope when you're apologizing for comedy in that context. I didn't see the sketch, so I don't know if there just was no substance to it.
You know the way she looks. She has big upper teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,
Her signature.
what makes her a unique. She's a unique looking woman.
Right.
Because of her teeth. She's a good actress too.
Well, and SNL accentuates any sort of feature like that in celebrities,
Sure.
no matter who it is.
Well, yeah, you cartoon him.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a
goof.
character.
Look at all the political stuff they do. I mean, they accentuate Trump and Biden and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they do.
And Clinton and Bush.
And I guess, I guess she's self-conscious about it.
I guess it's making her famous, and
Yeah, I was to say.
she's so distinctive.
And I didn't see the sketch, so was it mean? I mean,
No, it was not mean. It was White Lotus. It was weird and dreamy and just funny. It wasn't.
They didn't make fun of like the teeth weren't the butt of the joke.
The teeth were prominent.
but was it a part of the joke? But was like aside from the visual?
No,
Yeah,
I don't
were
think
people
so.
throwing darts
I think
at
it was
it,
mainly
like-
just visual.
Was that the point of the sketch?
Me seeing just clips of it, I don't think it was the point of the
Did
joke.
she open a can of tuna with it? Like, hand it to somebody?
I don't think
Like
so.
your teeth a can opener?
American Gladiators are coming back, you guys. You excited about this? Amazon Prime has announced its reboot. We talked about this last year. Remember whenever they announced
Well, the
that it was
documentary
happening?
was out last year. I loved the show when it was out. Nitro and Zap and, the other ones. Now, I think the host is going to be The Miz.
The Miz is going to host the series. Premiere date not announced yet.
Yeah, okay.
Is the
Hang
tennis
out
ball
with,
machine back?
It has to be.
Titan.
Titan.
I got that Michael Hearn.
Oh, yeah.
He's very.
Tan-
Oh, you were at his
self-aware.
house?
I was at his house, and it's exactly how you wanted an American Gladiator to be. He had, he's self-aware, but also just not self-aware. Like he had over his couch, just like a picture of him on Muscle and Fitness, like a picture of himself up. His son's name is Titan. He named his son after his American Gladiator category.
Might I, speaking of weird names for their kids, ESPN does that, or Netflix does that Untold series? Mm-hmm. And they had, it's a great documentary series. The Liver King is the newest one.
Yeah,
So
you're
it's a
talking about
documentary on the Liver King. Do you guys know who that is?
Who's the Liver
That's
King?
the guy, the beefcake dude. That
That's
just
the
eats-
guy. It was like, he'd eat, raw liver, and he's, just jacked. And he said it was all natural because it was, the ancestral ways that they would, just eat organ meat. And he was eating like bull testicles. And he's got a kid named Rad. And it, come to find out the guy was on steroids. It's about an hour and 20-minute documentary. It is fascinating. It is a study in
And the twist
what
is,
people will buy.
yeah,
And
and the twist is he was on steroids. No.
yes.
And the extremes that people will go.
Oh, and this guy
Ew.
made millions.
That's
on
disgusting.
The
selling these
interesting.
supplements.
That's kind of the Michael Hearn thing too. Is like he plays around with people of, are you natty or are you using?
Right.
He's the only American Gladiator who was on the first American Gladiator show and stayed in good enough shape that the second reboot he was still an American Gladiator.
He's probably going to be in this.
He might be in this. He's still pretty ripped. He's like 50 years old. 55,
Yeah, he was
I
very
think.
tan.
Very
Remember that.
tan.
Cynthia Erivo will star in a one-woman version of Dracula in London's West End next year. She's playing all 23 characters herself, including the Count, Van Helsing, Mina, and Renfield. And also she's playing Jesus Christ in Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl. So don't miss that. And also the musical special with Ariana Grande this November on NBC, leading up to the release of Wicked for Good. We have an RIP to discuss. Morris the alligator in Happy Gilmore has died.
What?
Yes, this is the alligator
Damn,
that
alligator bit my hand off.
I
Chubb
want those
Peterson's
boots.
hand. He could have been 100 years old. They really don't know. He was anywhere from 80 to 100.
They didn't ask him.
They didn't ask him. And, he had a great life. He was at some sort of sanctuary.
Yeah, till he tore one of them bastards' eyes out.
Well, he was an alligator. Interview with the Vampire, Dr. Doolittle, too.
Yeah, so a
Happy
famous
Gilmore.
alligator, huh?
He was.
R.I.P.
So R.I.P. And I love that his name was Morris.
Make sure you add him to the in memoriam, Rafe. Morris the alligator.
It's already on there.
A Polish company called Volonaut has unveiled an air bike. And I was showing Rizz this before the show. This
I
thing
think I'm in on this.
is incredible. A flying machine that looks a lot like the speeder bikes that you might remember from Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi. This
Dude.
thing is awesome.
You gotta see this.
We're there.
Goes up to 125 miles per hour. You are flying. They had this thing going over sand dunes, and I mean, it looks badass. I don't have a price because it's not necessarily for sale yet. But if they start selling these things, watch out.
So the speeder bike from Return of the Jedi, where they're in the Forest of Endor, and they're we got those now, man.
It's like a
We're
crotch
here.
rocket almost.
Oh my gosh. And they go 120 miles an hour?
Yes.
Get on out of here.
It looked really cool.
Volonaut air bike.
Volonaut. The 2025 Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover models have been revealed. Selma Hayek. What are our thoughts?
Yeah, well, to get to get the thoughts on the new Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, it's Chris Kerber.
Chris Kerber.
Wait a second. This thing flies?
Oh,
the air bike.
The air bike?
Yeah, man.
Oh, my
Isn't
gosh.
that cool?
Kerber, our dreams have become reality.
So the speeder bike from Return of the Jedi, we now have them.
I'm in.
Look
Yeah,
at this
man.
guy.
I'm absolutely in. And then you know what we're going to do since Joe Vitale is a Star Wars hater?
Yeah.
Like,
He's a Star Wars hater.
yeah, we're going to get like 6 of these and just circle them around his house in Kirkwood
He
for like
hates Star
4
Wars.
hours.
I can't believe it.
Cheddar Bay Boys.
Well, he likes to, kind of joke like that I'm a nerd, which, okay, like telling a nerd they're a nerd really
Well,
doesn't
he's
do
a
anything
jock.
to the nerd, right? But so he likes to bring that up, and I look at him every single time because remember we just had a playoff game on May 4th,
Yeah.
right?
May the 4th be with
May
us.
the 4th, right? And so somebody asked Jim Montgomery or they asked somebody in the media scrum about Star Wars, and he says, we're not really a sci-fi family. And Joe nudged me, and she goes, see, I said, yeah, a $2 billion industry is wrong.
Right.
You know?
As I was at Disney World on May the 4th at Star Wars Land.
Just this past May
He's a
4th?
Jedi now.
That's where I was when
Is that cool? Is that worth it?
It's
Is it
worth
fun?
it. It's awesome.
I haven't been down to Disney World, man, since when T.J. Oshie was scoring those shootout goals in the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
No,
we
it's
did it as
incredible.
a family. It was my daughter had a cheer event down there. We went, my son, myself, my wife, and daughter. We decided to do, a family going to Disney World thing while she's already down there. It was fine. We don't need to do it again.
Yeah. Well, my youngest, she was so young we were down there. We kind of owe her a trip. We kind of owe her that, I think, a trip down there just to experience it. But
Dude, it's incredible. They got the greatest, they have the greatest single ride ever made on the planet.
okay, which one's that?
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
I haven't
Dude,
been
it's
on that.
great.
It's the greatest
Is that
roller
good?
coaster.
Even the Star Wars rides are good. They got a giant Millennium Falcon there. I mean,
Yeah.
and you are immersed in the world.
It's a $500
What is
million
wrong with Joey
ride.
Vitale?
Get him on the phone.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, call him right now.
What is wrong
That
with
would
Let's
be
wake him
awesome.
up.
And it's okay, man. We're all. When
He has 5 kids. He's been awake. He's been awake for
Well,
a
they're
while.
probably like, Dad, you need to love Star Wars. What's wrong with
when
you?
we fly by him looking like this on a speeder bike, and he's
Yeah.
all down there going,
Air bikes.
Star Wars.
Look it up.
Listen, I would. Okay, you will have to call him. Got to arrange, get him on, okay, and have him tell you his bird situation. Like we're on the road in it might have been Winnipeg, games 1 or 2, and it was his oldest daughter's birthday, Summer's birthday, and they said, "Hey, we got to FaceTime you. We need to have a surprise." And then so while he's on the FaceTime with his wife, Bree, he hears a squawk, and then the daughter kind of leans in, and she's got a cockatiel on her shoulder. So they were adding to the pet.
Oh,
They were adding to the pet situation while he was on the road.
Without him knowing?
Yeah.
no.
I
That's
think
the
that's a
move.
family decision.
A squeaky one?
I don't. I think that's a sweet move.
Get out of here.
That's a daughter's move right there.
But again, and you have to have him tell you this story because I said, well, man, you got a couple dogs, right? He goes, yeah. I go, oh, and you got young kids. You got to be careful. Watch this bird. Well, they were out to dinner, and I guess the youngest son climbed up, opened up the bird cage, and the dog got a hold of the bird. And they got it in enough time. But him telling you the story of how this bird looks right now is just
Maimed.
Chewed?
It's epic.
on
One
the dog
feather
side of
hanging
the
out, a
story.
lit going to the right. But they took it to the vet, and I mean, it's again.
It's hanging in there.
And then
Still a bird.
and again, like his bird situation is not just there. We're in the middle of a game, and he looks at me, and I said, "What's up?" He says, "Well, my wife's texting me." I said, "Okay, that's not uncommon for us." And he goes, "Yeah, apparently we just bought these 7 chickens."
Love it.
Oh, more birds?
So he's got chickens
awesome.
and
He's got chickens.
and he's in Kirkwood. So he's got chickens in the backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Now here's the thing. There's supposedly
What do you mean this guy's neighbor?
He's raising them to be free range chickens
Nice.
in Kirkwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess he bought like a run, like a portable run thing.
Hen house?
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I said, well, are you going to build a chicken coop? I grew up, we had chickens, we had donkeys, we had mules.
Yeah, but you
You're
lived
a
down in
farmer. I did
Wildwood.
that.
Like when Wildwood was undeveloped.
Wildwood wasn't even a city.
Right.
All right. So Wildwood becoming a city actually hosed my dad when he sold all that land. They he's doing this. I said, well, what about hawks? Like if your kids are somewhat traumatized with the cockatiel getting caught by the golden retriever,
What about when a hawk swoops
what are you going to
down?
do when a hawk comes down? Whoa!
Oh, man.
Well, we have a friend that lives in that area, and you could lease chickens. Like you could
Go
lease
on.
them, so you could.
No.
Yeah, you could. She got 3 chickens, and it comes with the run, the whole thing. You could lease them.
Yeah.
2 days after, they go out to the backyard to get the eggs. All feathers left. That's it.
Yeah, you gotta
Whatever
keep 'em
wild
secure.
animal or
Did they negotiate a price if you lose the chicken?
Hey,
Is
you break
like
it, you buy it.
Yeah.
You know.
Probably.
I don't know if they took the insurance.
That's
I don't
sad.
know.
Oh, boy.
All that was left was feathers.
My
And they had to
sister-in-law's
explain to the kids.
dachshund just killed one of their chickens. And I'm like, oh my, a dachshund.
Yeah.
You know, what do they do? They're just Ottomans. You know, they're just little wiener dogs.
God, they're
Oh.
super territorial. Our video producer, Josh McNews, had a chicken in South City, and his dachshund doxed it.
Oh yeah, the
Secret
dachshund got the
murderers.
chicken.
Traumatizing for Josh. Is not. He's a very gentle soul,
He is.
and he's like, "We're out in the yard." He had the chicken longer, and he's like attached to the chicken. They had one chicken they used to get the eggs, and this
I'd love to have chickens.
little dachshund just
What?
destroyed
No.
it.
Actually,
Wow.
in my
No,
house,
why?
Not worth it.
Listen, I live in Ellisville, and the people that owned my home before had a chicken coop. And we had a fenced-in, beautiful backyard, and you know what? Eggs are expensive, and why not? And I love taking care of animals.
Okay,
They're
hang
so
on a minute.
dirty.
So
No, they wouldn't
do
be.
the
I take care of
math.
them.
Do the math on the food and how you're going to feed the chicken and all that. And I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you what. Eventually, and when you walk out of that backyard, you say, "Hey, we're going to have a barbecue." Not of the chicken.
Okay.
Okay. And you say, "We're going to have a barbecue with some friends over," and you're going to walk out there and go, "Oh, this backyard just stinks if the
Yeah.
wind blows a certain way."
Oh, it does?
And at which point
Oh,
you're
they
going to go,
it stinks.
"I should have just gone to." Well, if you're in Wildwood, I guess that Deerberg's right there,
Yeah.
Clarkson. Okay, so if I'm going to, we're going to go to that Deerberg's and just buy some eggs.
Okay.
It's no.
She just wants something to hug.
I love hugging animals, Kurt. I
that
can't
part's
deal.
that part. See, yeah, that part's
You ever hold
okay.
a turkey before? You'll never want to eat a turkey sandwich
Oh,
ever
those
again.
are nasty animals, turkeys.
I loved holding the one at the
We
Gentle
had 2
Barn.
turkeys. They ran away, thank God.
What do you think would have happened if Ben Franklin had his way and our national bird had become the turkey?
Is that what he wanted? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. He wanted the national bird to be the turkey?
We'd be eating
Some
eagles
ways
for
it is.
Thanksgiving.
I feel
That's
like
right,
that
Boom.
would be on brand now.
Pretty easy to figure that one out.
Turkeys are nasty. Those things get running. They overturn things. They crap while they run it. They're terrible.
And then we eat them. No
and then
big
we
deal.
eat them.
They're
Then
fun
we eat them.
pets.
Hey, Chris Kerber's here, guys. Let's finish up crap on celebrities.
All right. Real fast.
Yeah.
One last, because I was just going to say this. So, are you a Salma Hayek fan?
Sort of.
What?
Dusk
Sort of.
Till Dawn,
Who-
the most
who
iconic
is not a
scene of a
fan?
woman ever is her turning into the vampire when she's walking. She puts her foot in Quentin Tarantino's mouth and then pours the tequila down her leg, and her
Can you put
body
a
is the most
picture?
banging thing that's
Yeah.
ever happened.
Moon, put a picture of Salma Hayek from Dusk Till Dawn.
They
up
don't
on
even
the
need
screen.
it to be from anything. Salma Hayek.
Well, I know.
Not every
She
year
said,
of
"Are
her
you a
entire
fan?"
life.
Like, is she good looking? Is a different question.
In all
I'm
honesty,
sorry.
I just want
And
to. I
she's
just
so
want to see a
fun.
picture.
She's
I want to see a
cute. She's
picture.
great
Okay.
in movies.
Oh.
Like she's a great rom-com actress, I think. And I don't know. I've
She
always-
married a billionaire too.
Yeah.
So she is.
Even hotter.
Yeah.
Can you just play the scene of Dusk Till Dawn? I just feel like we need to look at it like at least once a year. Just
I mean,
to kind of
this is
reap
one of the most
benefits.
flawlessly gorgeous women
Yes.
every year of her adulthood. This is like, I mean, you can't find a bad picture of this human
I
being.
can't believe Chris Kerber doesn't like her. That's wild.
Yeah.
How dare you?
It says a lot about you, bruh.
Well, she is 60. I'm sorry.
What
She's
is-
in her 50s.
What movie? What?
Dusk Till Dawn, please. Selma Hayek stuns on the cover of Sports Illustrated. The swimsuit cover just came out, and she's on it. And it's so good. And she just looks great. And I just want to give her some props. Other celebs being on
Damn.
the Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover, Lauren Chan, and Olivia Dunn. So you got some social
Okay, do we need
influencers.
that?
The swimsuit?
Well, no.
What do you mean?
Like even if you just look at the pictures here, we didn't need Selma Hayek to do the swimsuit edition.
Because we already have it?
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Like that's the one thing. Like I don't. You know that you're starting to grasp for stuff if you've got to go grab celebrities to do it in your magazine.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, do we mind it? No,
No, we do not.
But
that's
you know,
not the question.
No,
the
fact
swimsuit
that
edition
she's-
has lost its shine. We know that.
The fact that she's 50, or how old is she?
She's in her
Late
50s.
Beautiful.
Like
She is
54.
beautiful.
I mean,
but-
upon further review, this is one of the most attractive human beings
I
to
know.
ever live.
No, yes, but the point is, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. I mean, is that a thing? Do people look forward to?
So
that
she's on the
anymore?
cover?
She's on the cover. There's also first out lesbian model Lauren Chan is on the cover, and Olivia Dunn, who's a gymnastics champion, is on the cover, and they all look great. But the thing about Salma Hayek is she says that she never thought she could ever be on the cover of SI swimsuit edition because she just never had that body confidence, which is insane to me because
Stop
the
it.
woman is so beautiful.
They're just like us.
Stop it.
And also, are they putting this in the same category as like when Martha Stewart was on the cover, where you're having like an older woman grace the cover? I mean, she looked great too.
Stop
But see, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit magazine,
She's 50.
what that did at the time, when it actually was relevant, right, was it bridged the gap for the young men that could not get a hold of the Playboy magazine
Right.
and was as close to
Yes.
that as they could get,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I still remember the body paint issue very clearly.
Yes, I do too. And not only
This woman
did
is
you
almost.
get your Sports Illustrated subscription, but you also got a football phone.
Of course you
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Garth Algar.
That was super tight.
And
You
the
also got a
hockey
football-
video.
You also got a football phone, and and this would come once a year. And as a teenage boy whose hormones were, all crazy, this was a big deal.
Of course it was.
This woman is almost 60 years old.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, her doing this, like, does nothing. That, like, it doesn't introduce you to somebody. She could do those photo shoots and has done those photo shoots forever.
Right.
Right? So I don't know that, like,
I find it
like
shocking.
the sports, was it Elle McPherson that,
Elle McPherson, Kate Upton, Cindy
Ireland.
Crawford, Kathy
Kathy
Ireland. Those were your models.
What was Nikki Benz?
yeah.
Yeah, Joy Behar.
I find it shocking that you guys can find anything wrong with what we just.
I know. That's why you keep them in there, huh?
Come on.
Yeah, that's why.
No, Nikki Taylor.
Yeah,
Nikki
Nikki
Taylor.
Taylor.
Nikki
That's
Benz
right.
was a porno birthday one time.
That's fine.
Well, it's good that she's happy that she's on it.
I'm happy for her. I think it's great. She's beautiful. And that was your crap on celebrities. Thank you.
Celebrity celebrating a birthday today. Miranda Cosgrove is 32. Rob Gronkowski is 36. Mark Zuckerberg is 41. Amber Tamblyn is 42. Sofia Coppola is 54. Kate Blanchett is 56. Danny Wood from New Kids on the Block is 56. Fabrice Morvan, the survivor of Milli Vanilli, is 59. Mike Inez is 59. Raphael Sadiq, that is 1/3 of Tony, also known as Tony.
I think one of the Tonys recently died.
Was that the Y, the I, or the E?
Three Tonys
I
from
think,
Tony,
I think the
Tony.
E died.
The E
I think
died?
Tone died. It's
Yeah.
Tony, Tone, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was Tony, just
It was
spelled
Tony,
Tone.
Anyway.
I think that might be my
CeCe
favorite
DeVille,
Tony.
Poison guitar player, is 63. Ian Astbury from The Cult is 63. Tom Cochran is 72. David Byrne, Talking Head singer, is 73. Robert Zemeckis, he did Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, Romancing the Stone, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Castaway, The Polar Express. It goes on and on. Robert Zemeckis is 73. And George friggin' Lucas.
George Lucas. Let's guess how old George Lucas is. Kerber, how old is George Lucas?
81.
I'm going to say 82.
You're all done. He got it. 81.
Oh, 81. Well,
He
weren't
nailed
gonna
it.
play
Well, I used
None
the
of you
force.
guys were going to get it. Like, Kerber just
Well,
right out of the gate.
Lauren may have been wanting to say 81
Yeah, I wanted
as well.
to say 81.
Today's porno birthday, which is being brought to you by Patricia's, where fun and fantasy meet, is Tammy White. And today's birthday girl has been in 218 fine films, including The Back Door to Hollywood, Backside of the Future, speaking of Robert Zemeckis, Big Melon's 32, Breaking It 2, The Anima Diary. She was in Frat Brats. She was in Jane Bond Meets Thunder Thighs.
Wonder what the plot of that was.
And who could forget a role in 2006's Thanks for the Memories. Tammy White, 61. That's your porno birthday. Those are your crappy birthdays, and that was your crap on celebrities. It's so good to have Chris Kerber actually in the studio.
I know.
It is.
I wish
In
you
the
weren't
studio.
here.
Person. It's good to see you guys.
I-
In
yeah.
your civilian wear.
I wish you weren't here, but it is great to see you.
Yeah, but you know what? I appreciate that. Man, there's been a good things over the last, couple weeks. I was at my cousin Megan's wedding a couple nights ago. That was great. I
So
wouldn't
you
have been
get to
able
do
to be
these
there.
family things.
There's and I've been at a couple of varsity soccer games and
There you
lacrosse
go.
games that, towards the end of the season I'd be missing. So on a personal level, it's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
I'll be honest with you.
I'd rather be doing hockey sometimes too, but
I have not
I'd
even
have
been
missed a
paying
lot.
attention as to what's going on. Like,
No,
I stopped watching hockey.
Today I had to seek out some hockey news just so I could put it in the sports report, but it was like, ugh, I don't like doing this.
Look,
You're missing some great hockey. Though.
I know.
Apparently, yeah.
And you're enough of a hockey
I
fan.
know. It hurts.
Yeah, it's
I guess.
sour right now.
He's
We gotta,
upset.
Hey, listen, I do it too. I mean, I don't watch. I got to get compelled right after we lose to put a.
you got to take a round off.
Almost, yes,
You
I
know what I
agree
mean?
with that.
Like,
I
you
get
just
that.
take the round,
Yeah.
unless you lose in the semis, like you take a round off and then you get back in.
That's right.
All right, listen, Chris Kerber's here. We'll talk some Blues hockey. Also, I want to bring up, and Moon's got the story about what's happening in Major League Baseball with the dead people now being
Oh
reinstated.
yeah, this is great.
I just want your, and Moon, you got the story, right?
Yes.
I want Chris's opinion on this whole thing. Chris Kerber's here. Steve-O's sleeping out in the parking lot, by the way. You see that big giant RV out there
It blends in.
I can't see it. It's camouflage
with the urban camo?
Yeah.
That's Steve-O's house.
The Rizzuto Show.
All right, welcome back to the program. Chris Kerber in studio. Great to see you, buddy. In civilian clothes.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here. Good to be in studio, see you guys in radio,
Yeah.
old school radio, not over the phone.
I know.
I like it.
I like it too. I
Look
like
at faces, see reactions.
People are wondering who you are pulling for in the
playoffs?
the NHL playoffs.
So I've morphed into a unique spot where outside of the teams that I root for, I've become where I root for people.
Okay.
And I root for stories some may not know. So, like, of the teams remaining, I'd root for Craig Berube. I want to see him have success. I don't have any hatred towards the Toronto Maple Leafs, so I want to see him have success. So that'd be Toronto.
That's a good series.
That'd be Toronto. That's a good series. But for me, the remaining teams, Jim Nill, this may not relate for most people, but I'll say it anyway. Like, Jim Nill is just one of the nicest, like most polite and friendly people that I've come across and met in this business. He's the general manager of the Dallas Stars. He actually started his career with the St. Louis Blues. His son was drafted by the Blues. Ended up not playing, but his he was for a long time. He was the assistant general manager with Detroit under Ken Holland when they won all those Stanley Cups, and then he went to Dallas and he's been with Dallas a long time. They've been so close, and he has put such a winning program together down there that's the kind of guy I want to see have success. So
You're rooting for the Dallas Stars.
I would be happy to see.
How dare you?
I would be happy to see. Yeah, because look, I don't want Vegas to do it again. Right? In all honesty, I can live with Edmonton. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Connor McDavid. I think it's great for the league and everything. So if,
You're not of the hey, Winnipeg beat the Blues, so let's have. Hey, if you're going to lose to
oh no,
somebody,
hell
might
no!
as
I
well
wanted to see
lose-
Winnipeg swept.
Might as well lose to the eventual champs.
No,
And-
you
and-
lost.
And they're down 3-1 in the series.
Yeah, good. I can't. That is one of the most phenomenal. I think it's a sports story that needs looking further into. Connor Hellebuck's road play in the playoffs in his career. Once they went to the conference finals the first year, like 17 or something like that, when they made the playoffs, and then in this run where they've made it every year, but maybe one or so. Connor Hellebuck, who is one of the best regular season goalies. He's five-time Vezina Trophy finalist. He's going to win the Vezina this year for the third time,
and maybe MVP,
and should be. I mean, I don't know if he'll get it, but should be the MVP, right, this year. And he is just an absolute train wreck on the road in his career in the playoffs. It makes no sense. I think it's it's one of those crazy sports stories. But they gave up another 3 goals last night, and they're down 3-1 to Dallas.
Yeah, down 3-1 to Dallas.
Like the Yips.
For golfers?
Yeah, I don't know if it's something in his head. I started, when we were in the series, so we'll get into some real deep sports talk here, but I'm like, okay, what are some examples? And I went and I looked up Ed Belfour. For Blues fans, the hated goalie of the Blackhawks, and then obviously with Dallas.
We had in here a couple weeks ago.
Who you had in here with his whiskey?
Who super cool guy.
Yeah. I'm pretty good whiskey. I like that rye.
Yeah, Moon apologized to him for all the Belfouring he did.
Yeah, because he was one of the few people that I just and
who
relentlessly harassed in the 90s.
Who loved being yelled at.
Oh, yeah.
Who ate it up.
Listen, he was known as kind of just as a mental case. Most goalies have to be, right? But
I called him that when he was here.
But look at if you go on to Hockey Reference and you look at Ed Belfour's career, and on the right column it tells you where they finished in voting for all the different awards. It's a great research site for that. This guy was 10 times top 5 Vezina in his career. When he was 38, 39, he was still top 5 goalie in the league. Now, he didn't win a Stanley Cup all those years with Chicago. He didn't win a cup until he went to Dallas. So Connor Hellebuck is well on his way to to a Hall of Fame career, right? And it may be another year or two, or maybe something. Maybe he doesn't win a cup, but it might be just that one cup that kind of puts it over the edge. But I still, and I guess we say this, but it was Connor Hellebuck that won Game 7. You tell me I need to win one game, I'm taking Jordan Binnington every day before I take Connor Hellebuck.
And he's proved that, not just in the Stanley Cup Finals, but also
in other
Four
things.
Nations.
Every day I'm taking him. It's crazy how Hellebuck is just a different thing. But no, I don't have any reason. I don't have anybody that I root for.
You are rooting against
Winnipeg, so I might as well root against one.
You are rooting against. Now, speaking of Hall of Fame, you bring up the Hall of Fame. The big sports story today people are talking about is baseball commissioner Rob Manfred reinstating baseball players who have now passed that are now eligible for the Hall of Fame. And Moon, what's the story here?
Well, so Manfred unbanned everybody who's dead, saying, quote, "Obviously, a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game. Therefore, I have concluded that permanent ineligibility ends upon the passing of a disciplined individual." That's the quote. So Rose was banned in '89 for betting on games while he was managing the Reds. Shoeless Joe Jackson, remember, and 7 other members of the White Sox were banned for fixing the 1919 World Series. And I think all those guys are dead, too.
Well, they are. But now, okay, so have you seen the movie 8 Men Out or read the book?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw the movie, a long time ago.
Right. So it's a great rendition of the book 8 Men Out, and that is about that Chicago White Sox team and how they got banned and all that other stuff. Because if you go back and you look at that, every single player on that team was acquitted. But they felt like the judge was on the hook. And Major League Baseball at the time, it's because of that team. It's because of the Chicago Black Sox that they became known as, that baseball put a commissioner in place. And the commissioner that they put was Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis, who was an impeccable judge at the time. And Landis said,
First name Kennesaw?
Kennesaw. Yeah, he's from Hamilton, Ohio, just outside of Oxford, Ohio, right between Cincinnati and Oxford, Ohio. And there's a sign. I have a picture. I did this. I'm such a baseball fan.
What a nerd you are.
Oh yeah, wait for this one. Wait till I finish this story. Right, you're going to create a whole new level of nerd. I got suited up in my coat and tie. This god-awful blue tie with white polka dots on it. I was a college kid, and literally drove. There's a sign along the street. I believe it's Hamilton that says the birthplace of Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis, baseball's first czar.
Yeah.
And so I went and I got all my sports coat on as a sports fan, wanting to be a sports broadcaster, and took a great picture standing right next to this sign. So anyway, baseball put the commissioner in. Now Landis said, I will only do it if I have complete control. And they gave it to him because they needed him to clean up the game at this point in time. So they hired a boss that could suspend and, owners.
Do whatever.
So he did it to send a message.
And that's where baseball.
Palpatine.
Yeah, really.
It all comes from that.
So even though all those Black Sox players were acquitted, it was Landis that said they have all been banned for life. including Shoeless Joe and all
And
those
now
others.
that their life is over, Manfred's like back in.
So I read that quote, and I thought, I actually, I like it and I don't like it. I like the quote that says a life sentence should end when your life ends.
Right.
I'm like, okay, actually, there's some great deep thought to that if you really want to dig into it, right? But I was taking a public speaking class in college. I thought it'd be kind of easy for me. It was my junior year, and you had to give this speech at the end. And I was at Miami of Ohio, 90 to 94. So this would have been about 93. And my speech was all should Pete Rose be eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And I'm reading this story yesterday about, him finally being eligible, and I'm thinking, this debate has been going on forever. Mm-hmm. And in one sense, it's good. Now, here's the hypocritical aspect of, and this might relate exactly to what you guys were talking about Weird Al a little earlier on, right? Here's the hypocritical aspect of the Hall of Fame. You could go to Cooperstown, and you'll see Pete Rose's cleats.
Yeah.
You'll see bats that he used. You'll see Pete Rose memorabilia all over the place. But he can't be, so you're going to monetize, and which is what
His
you are as a
stuff.
museum, right? You're going to monetize and celebrate his career, but he can't be in the Hall of Fame. And I have this argument I have held since '93. I will hold it till the day I die. Hall of Fames tell the story of your sport, of your whatever your Hall of Fame is, of music,
Of your career.
Okay. All right, of your career. They tell the story of your business, basically.
The legacy.
Okay. But not everything is rosy. So the argument that I made back in '93, doing this speech, was it's a character flaw what he did to a degree, right? So you have Ty Cobb, who is known as one of the
trash.
worst individuals ever. There was nothing redeeming about Ty Cobb if you read stories about him, right?
Racist.
Okay, and all this stuff.
Horrible.
How many, horrible people, whether it be racism, whatever, do you have in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Okay.
O.J. Simpson killed people.
Well, yeah.
And but he was still a good football player.
Oh.
So, do you
Right?
Do you like you put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame? Even back in 90, what he would have been eligible, I think, in 94 or 95, right? You put him in the Hall of Fame. You put on his plaque that he was banned by baseball, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Hall of Shame.
And then you let it go. You can still uphold the ban. You can still say you're not allowed to be on the field. You're not allowed to manage. You could even say you're not allowed to even come give a speech.
Right.
But you can't erase the fact
you
that he has
can't
more
ignore the-
hits than anybody else.
And it's the same thing with the steroid era of baseball. Yeah. Baseball knew it was going on. They loved it because it was
Steroid
bringing
guys
in
in,
money.
too.
Okay. And so there's all that other parts to it. So to me, this is actually a good thing. Now, the one part that I really hate about this is, like, you eventually knew, and here's a couple. You eventually knew that, like, Cool Papa Bell and other players were going to go into the Hall of Fame, right? You knew, a great example in hockey for the fans that might remember Pat Burns, who got sick. They knew eventually was going to go in. Do it while they're alive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you can do it while to do it once they're
sadness.
dead. I don't get that part.
Once I heard, that Manfred made this announcement, and knowing that Pete Rose died a couple months ago. When did he die? When did he die? Last year.
Yeah, a year or so ago.
Yeah, it's
Year or
almost been
so
a year.
ago. I did get sad
Yeah.
because he won't know, he doesn't know that he's getting
Oh,
in.
I'd haunt the crap out of the place.
Okay, well,
Goes to Pete Rose.
Well, here's the
people
fun
wouldn't
thing
care.
about this, real quick, is what is the actor Giamatti's first name?
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti. Okay, his dad,
Bart.
Bart, was the one that banned Pete Rose. His dad was he was an English professor at Yale prior to becoming commissioner of baseball. So if you go back and you can find these interviews where Paul Giamatti, like, it's a very still passionate topic to him, because his dad, Bart Giamatti, was such a baseball fan that having to ban Pete Rose pretty much did him in. And Paul Giamatti blames Pete Rose for basically the heart attack that his dad had.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of the amount of stress.
Yeah, and it was it a couple weeks or was it even days after he banned him that he died?
I don't know if. Okay,
it was a very short.
Gotta look that
it
up.
was a very short amount of time.
Because here's one of the catches to this. It was Pete Rose that agreed to the ban, and part of the understanding that he had with Bart Giamatti was, if you agree to the ban, we will look a year or two now at reinstatement. So this was part of continuing to help clean up baseball.
Yeah.
Right? And in doing so, well, then Bart Giamatti dies. And then after that, with Bud Selig and all that, they felt that to honor Bart, we can't go on what his ban was.
Died a week later.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The
Died
original,
1
kind
week
of the
later.
agreement that Pete Rose had with whatever it was with Bart Giamatti went out the window when he died, and the commissioners ever since has said, well, we have to uphold this.
Ladies and gentlemen, to talk about Pete Rose being reinstated into the into baseball, into MLB, ladies and gentlemen, Steve-O.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
What's up, buddy?
dude.
Steve-O, that's Chris Kerber. Chris, Steve-O.
And that's Moon Pie. She'll bite you in the nuts. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Moon Pie bit me yesterday, by the way, in the hand.
During the picture.
During our picture, and there is a
Not okay.
no, it's fine. I went to go get rabies shots. But
Yeah, no, she's good on her rabies.
oh, good,
She's
he's
all
good.
good.
So that's
Yeah.
positive.
Good. Didn't break the skin.
I was just in Canada. Yeah, I crossed into Canada and back. You got to have
Oh, you gotta have all
up-to-date
your-
rabies, yeah.
All your up-to-date shots. But
Yeah.
Chris is the play-by-play guy for the St. Louis Blues.
Nice, okay.
Steve, I got kicked. I am not allowed to watch Jackass in the bedroom anymore
Good. Okay.
because I would laugh my
Oh, okay,
ass
good.
off
I'm glad
so
you
hard.
qualified that.
I know. What were you doing to
Yeah,
criticize?
no joke. No joke. I'm a huge fan of the show, of the movies, and everything. So this, when you told me he was coming in, I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I walked off the soccer field yesterday with my wife. I go, guess what? And she rolled her eyes at me, but like I would have it on, and I'd start laughing. And if she was trying to sleep, she couldn't. And she goes, that's it.
Yeah.
No more Jackass in the bedroom.
You know what? I thought it would be a funny
So I
moment.
have to go. I watch it.
She's talking about you.
You know, Chris, as a play-by-play guy, maybe calling one of Steve-O's stunts. So if we put one of Steve-O's stunts up on the screen as a play-by-play guy, can you maybe do a call?
I could try that.
Yeah, do a call on it.
Yeah. We
That's
could
great.
do that.
You know,
okay,
speaking
so-
of stunts,
Yeah.
I asked Post Malone last night about the time when he fell down in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he said he had a hairline fracture, that it was absolutely awful, that, and I can confirm rib injuries are super gnarly. Like, he said, I'm like, if you laugh, it hurts so much. He's like, yeah, if you laugh, if you cough, anything. He got a really bad rib injury here in St. Louis.
Yeah. So
did
do
break
you
it?
know that story? So
No.
so Post Malone was at Enterprise Center.
Wearing a Blues jersey.
Wearing
in
a
fact.
Blues jersey.
Okay.
And fell into a hole.
A hole that he said he pulls guitars out of, I think.
On
Pulls
stage.
guitars out
And
of,
he was-
maybe he comes up out of it himself, and he just didn't see it.
And he was doing crowd work, obviously, and he fell in the hole, and he fell like right on his ribs.
Oh, dude. Just like, and hard, too.
He finished the show?
Yeah.
He said that he took a break for 10 minutes or so, came back out and did 2 more songs, but couldn't, and was like, guys, I'm sorry. And I said, well, the lore is that you finished the show, and he said, I really like that version of the show.
Yeah.
he says, I didn't finish the show the way I normally did. It was a different way of finishing the show, but yeah, I finished it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So he was at Busch Stadium last night. So it was Post Malone and Jelly Roll at Busch Stadium last night.
And man, what an operation. Dude, it was the most staggering operation. Just
Well, what do you
wow.
mean? It was a stadium show. I mean, these things are
right, and I'm saying just like semi trucks, like the scale of the production was staggering.
Did they take care of you?
Yeah, for sure.
The vibes backstage.
I
was
loved how
cool.
they set it up. Because they set it up facing the outfield, right?
Oh, did they?
I think they set it up.
They set it up facing the
So
outfield.
like the
yeah.
bleachers were part of the seats looking in at the stadium. Or looking in at the stages.
So the stage, if you're on stage, you're looking at the outfield.
I mean, if you think of it,
Yes.
if you think of it, that's absolutely the best way for sound.
Yeah,
I mean, that way, like, you know, if you're gonna do it that way, you play the music to home plate, then it's kind of surrounded catching the sound like that.
So you go to the stadium. Did you bring your RV down to?
I did not. No. You know, there was a cool taxi driver outside when I walked out in the morning. There was a couple of people like just kind of hanging out, waiting for me to come out. And one of them was like a taxi driver. He's like, dude, if you need a ride while you're here, man. And I was like, I absolutely need a ride. Yeah, shout out to my man Rick.
Yeah,
Rick.
But yeah, it was just the greatest experience.
Well, I want you to take me through the evening. So, so do they tell you where to go? I mean, you're a VIP. You're a special guest of Post Malone.
Yeah, it was.
Because I don't know if you knew this or not, Chris, but you see he's got a tattoo of a penis on his face.
Yes.
You see it, Chris? Take a good look at it.
Yeah, I did notice that you came back from this Post Malone visit without a new tattoo. So
Right.
Post Malone last year tattooed that on his face backstage at a concert, and we're coming up now on a year.
Coming up on a year. It'll be, yesterday was today's exactly 1 month from the year mark.
Okay, so you did it because you wanted to see how long you could keep it on your face.
Right.
11 months.
Yeah.
11 months exactly.
Right. There's, you know.
What an achievement.
Right. It's not been that difficult to keep. That's the thing.
It does all the work itself, you know.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Set it, forget it.
Well, Chris, I was
It moves when he smiles.
well, I was telling him yesterday, like, you were pretty much the only one on earth that could get away with that. And not
Just
like
about,
when you walk in a room and you have a genitals tattooed on you, and like people will smile and go, oh.
There he is.
Now, Chris, let's say you got that tattooed on your on your forehead.
Well, it would be smaller than that.
Okay, so we didn't really have clear instructions on where to go. I said to the taxi driver, Rick asked me, you know, where should we go? I said, I think go to where they say you're not allowed and tell them, yeah, we are.
Way to go, Rick.
Dude, that's my style.
That was kind of my thinking. He said, all right, I'll take you to the players' entrance. I said, yeah, sounds good. Where the players enter. Yeah, good. And, you know, he dropped us right off at like kind of the edge of a gate, you know, you know, and we're looking right through the gate at a tour bus. So I just texted, you know, my dudes. I had a Jelly Roll guy and I had a Post Malone guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, technically I could have texted Post or Jelly, but they just never really are good at responding. So I didn't even bother. But there's a tour bus right there, and I texted them. They came and got us, and the tour bus was distinctly Post's bus, and they said he doesn't like to be like in the stadium. He just feels kind of like boxed in. So they make a rectangle of tour buses. And so he was just right there. They just walked in, and there was
they almost like they would like circle the wagons,
courtyard.
like
courtyard. Yeah, that's
so they make a courtyard for him from the tour buses.
out of tour buses. Yeah.
I like that.
I spent most of the time hanging out with his dad. What a cool dude. Yeah.
That's rad.
I was so stoked. And there was like nobody in this courtyard. It was like, it was pretty rad.
You
like,
and Post Malone's dad?
Post, his dad, his mom, his stepmom, like his main dude, Bobby, who's just the greatest. He had this, this like plastic little kind of a bull with horns thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's practicing his lassoing.
Yes.
Everyone just let him do his thing. He's practicing his lassoing. He's pretty good at it.
And this is Post? Like,
yeah.
He's really getting into the country thing.
Yeah, he's
really leaned into this. I'm a country music star now. Like, he's lassoing things.
He's
wild.
He was really good at lassoing.
Nice.
And,
So you said you said you're really stoked just hanging out with his dad.
Yeah.
What are some other things too that like you get excited about around another celebrity? What pulls you in? That you still are like a kid in the candy store.
I mean, I'm so fascinated by just what a genuinely good dude he is. You know, I was, you know, I'm talking to Post. I showed him my tattoo. We had a good laugh, you know. And I was like, dude, so how is this, man? A stadium. Like, it's just like, it doesn't get bigger than that. And he thought for a second, like, just get bigger than that. I'm like, as far as structures to perform in,
Yeah.
there's no big, there's nothing bigger. And he said, yeah, I don't deserve it. And I'm like, I'm going to push back on that. Like, you're the best guy in the world.
He's got
You know?
imposter syndrome just like everybody else. That's kinda
All
cool.
of us.
Yeah, like I was like, dude, I told him again about that crazy surveillance video that I saw. You know, did I tell you guys?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like, I
Well,
mean,
tell Chris if he missed it.
it was just like I saw this video online. It was like a venue, like surveillance footage, where there's just the side of a building and there's nobody there. And you see Post come out to smoke a cigarette. He comes out. He's just wearing it, like like just like slugging, like, you know. And then all of a sudden, like some fans come out of like nowhere, and like he notices them, and he just perks up, and he's got all this energy for them. He's super happy, gives them this great experience, and then like they turn around and when they go away, once they're gone, then he's like really wearing it again. You know, it was like such like evidence of how like how good of a guy he is, you know?
Yeah.
Like so many people would be the other way around. They would be perfectly fine, but
And you've heard
because fans show up, they're like, oh God, I'll deal with this,
Right.
you know? And he's like that. It was just a really striking, like, display of like who the guy really
And
is.
with nobody watching.
With the way that
Right.
you act with nobody watching is
With
really
nobody watching is cool.
is really it's incredible. I'm like, dude, you know.
And where were your seats?
Front of house, so like right on the
Oh, sweet.
soundboard.
Yeah, where it sounds perfect. Like that's the best spot.
Front of the house.
Yeah, and
Look at you.
and yeah, but it's still in the mix, you know, like
Yeah.
And so people are like, "Hey, Steve, just let me get a photo," and I'm like, "Man, I'm gonna take one photo. I'm gonna get pulled in, you know, like
I got people sending pictures from you last night with them.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, I was resisting it because I'm like, it's going to come a point I can't do it, you know, I can't. But then there was like a little kid, and I was like, all right,
Oh,
I
man.
was like, all right, we're going to do this. So
Did you open up the floor? How many pictures did you take last
Probably
night?
100
Nice.
easy,
That's awesome.
100 easy, and then then the show started.
Yeah, the things you've done, the things that this man has put his body through. The fact that people want to be near you is is astonishing.
Well, the fact that he's walking
Yeah, that's
with some of those stunts.
Well, I have pulled up, or Moon pulled up on the big screen here. This is the from the movie Jackass 3D. I don't know if you remember this scene, Chris. This is the porta potty slingshot.
Oh yeah.
Or the poo cocktail supreme. Where
Oh, Steve-O. Oh, my God, dude.
where this is probably one of your most iconic.
I would say this is I won an MTV Movie Award for this.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think if I didn't win, I was certainly nominated. I can't remember.
So this go back a second or two, Moon.
Okay, should I mute this?
No, it's 100% clean. I made sure I pulled a clean copy of this.
Okay.
So Steve, how old were you?
This was filmed in 2010. I want to say I turned 35.
Oh, you look so young there.
Yeah, I turned 35 during the filming of this.
You look so young. So it's
And I turned 2 years sober during the filming of this too.
of Jackass 3D.
Yeah.
So you are completely sober during this.
I was completely sober.
You are strapped into the seat of a.
Why are you doing the play-by-play?
Yeah, right.
That's a control problem. I'm just trying to paint the picture. Just,
That was so funny.
It's called the Rizzuto Show.
I know. I saw this look on your face. You took a beat, and you were like, "Am I going to let that happen?"
okay, so Chris, if you'd like to describe what's going on here.
Just tell me when
that
to go.
was wrong of me.
You're 100%
No,
right.
that was
No, it's good. We can't do that because
Press play, Moon.
we got to deal with it.
All right, well, Steve-O's reading the newspaper while he's in the porta potty and the door gets locked on him. I have no idea why he's got his nose covered. You know, like he's got a breathing apparatus. He's with the yellow hat. They've got him on the slingshot, ready to pull the slingshot. And how high can the portable crapper go? It's up in the air, really high, comes back down. He's saying, oh, shoo! But it's coming up. Oh, my God. It's like a reverse enema. Up and down. I have no idea how he fit that much feces in his colon.
The crowd is
This is gross,
Chris.
folks. This is. Oh my God! There were chunks. There were turds. It wasn't all runny. There's actually chunks in there. That. Oh man. Oh. Well, he is no longer full of stuff.
That is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's,
He's gagging.
that's just the greatest stuff ever.
It's
And now Bob is throwing up.
Other people are.
Oh, God.
Here's just out of care. Did you? Okay.
Oh my God.
Did they let people fill it, or did they fill the porta potty? Like, was it stuck there, and then enough people ate X-Lax to fill it?
You've gotten right to the crux of the matter. It turns out that
We call
there's
it cracks in this case.
there's an organization called OSHA,
Yes.
Occupational Safety Hazard
Yeah.
Administration.
they have very distinct rules against like filming. Maybe it's the Motion Picture Association, but you can't film with human poop. And they're like, oh, well, we need poop. So they got this pristine porta potty. They found a company that will sell you as much dog poop as you want.
Oh, no. That's
Yeah,
worse,
like,
I think.
Yeah, and
Is it, Chris?
because
Thinking it is, yeah.
this was the loophole was that you can't film with human poop, but dog poop is cool.
Totally down.
And
Loophole.
they found a company literally called We Do Doo Doo.
And they're like, oh my gosh, we got a sale. And it's a big order.
Yeah. They I don't know if the company still exists. I'm inclined to think it does. They bought enough dog poop from We Do Doo Doo to fill a porta potty.
So we got to go a little. They ship in the poop.
You know what? I'm not sure what the.
Is it freeze? Is it from concentrate? Like is it freeze dried? And
fresh.
is it
No,
freeze dried and they got to add their own water? Or
It was definitely not freeze dried. I mean, it was fresh logs.
Like we could see. Oh,
Yeah, no, there was definitely a log program.
Like, can you
There's-
still taste that, Steve-O? Like, when you look at that video, can you taste? Because some of it does go into your mouth, and you obviously vomit.
Yeah, it's so funny because here I was wearing the nose plug.
Yeah.
I've got nose plug, swimming goggles, ear plugs in my ears.
I forgot about the mouth.
It's like, what's the point? I'm screaming my head off with my mouth wide open. Whenever Knoxville looks at the footage, he goes, "Wow, if your mouth wasn't so wide open, that poo might have hit you in the face." Yeah.
So that was dog.
Dog poop. Yeah,
Dog
and Knoxville and Tremaine, like always, whenever this comes up, they proudly confirm that many a crew member went in to make their own contributions. Yeah, they got a little bit of help just to bend the rules of OSHA.
Now, could I ask you, with that particular stunt, whose idea was that? And why? And were you chosen, or did you volunteer?
I had an idea for a potty drop. I was actively working on being in a porta potty that was dropped in some fashion. And somehow I foolishly didn't have the porta potty filled with poo in my creative, and I think that it turned into the porta potty bungee off of a bridge. I don't even think that I had in my creative. It wasn't on a bungee cord. It was just landing in water.
Right.
Come on, you know. The bungee was a better idea. And then it was like, okay, we'll fill it with poo. We'll do it off a bridge. But then Jeff Tremaine, being the genius that he is, if it's a catapult, then the poo comes out at the apex.
Yeah.
you know,
Even
at
more
the,
video.
at the zenith.
Chris, it's science.
Listen, this is why you pay attention in science class.
This is science.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was fun.
So when you are,
Sorry, I don't taste it anymore. Like it definitely took a while to wash off. Kind of like a shower didn't do the trick.
where does that rank in terms of one of the toughest or worst ones you did?
You know, the reason why I was so good for that one is that I have this irrational fear of roller coasters. I just don't like that sensation of falling. Like, I don't like being on a roller coaster. I don't like bungee jumping. I never wanted to skydive, even though, like, I ended up having to. So that was the only thing. They knew they would get a big reaction out of me. Like that whole, like, I'm a big reactor.
Right, and they would cater who does what to
Right.
who's gonna give the biggest reaction.
But it was objectively pretty safe. I mean, sure, I suppose there's some, like, hepatitis risks or whatever it might come with the poo.
Yeah, or
You know, like
parvo
being-
or whatever it is dogs get.
Yeah, being covered in dog poop probably has some attendant risks. I don't know.
I'm also intrigued by the fact, again, somebody will always find a market. Like somebody in the movie industry knew that if we cannot use human feces, we're going to have to replace it with something that's somewhat real. So we have to collect dog.
I'm dying to
And then sell
know.
it.
I got to believe that We Do doesn't serve the movie industry. Like,
Well, there's still a thing. I mean,
still
there
got
there we go. We Do.
pet waste removal.
Yeah.
Pet waste.
Shoot, and then just sell it.
5-star service.
Steve-O package.
Hey,
So
listen,
they brought up an active website for We Do.
Yep.
your dog is attacking Lern currently.
We're interviewing Steve-O, and Lern is literally tied up with her headset cord. Shoes are gone.
Bye.
All right, listen, we got to take a break. Chris Kerber's here. Steve-O's here. See Steve-O at Helium tonight and tomorrow. We'll take a break. More Chris, more Steve-O. All right, welcome back to the program. Chris Kerber in studio. He's in front of me to my right. Jackass's own Steve-O, who you could see tonight and tomorrow at Helium Comedy Club. One show tonight, one show tomorrow. It's an all-new Steve-O experience extravaganza.
The Crash and Burn tour.
The Crash and Burn tour. Chris, I know you are a Jackass fan.
I am.
You need to watch his last special,
I have not seen that yet.
The Bucket List. It is.
Well, thank you. It is filthy.
It is.
It is gnarly.
It is gnarly.
And it's uncensored on his website.
Yeah, on the website,
Perfect.
free, uncensored. I don't know if your wife will like it, but I know you will like
Well,
it.
that doesn't matter. She's not going to divorce
You
me.
should
at
put
this
it on
point.
in the bedroom because technically it's not Jackass.
That's true.
That is true.
I guess Rick, cab driver Rick, check it in.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
You are welcome in his cab anytime.
I love it. Yeah.
Anytime you're in town. Somebody writes in that Jackass 5 is, or is it, are they calling it Jackass 25?
No, it would be a fifth theatrical release if we did another one. I never imagined that. I highly doubt that that's a thing. But
Oh, somebody said that Johnny Knoxville is, quote unquote, writing it currently.
Johnny Knoxville started doing a podcast, which caught me off guard. I was like, wow, I mean, it's nice that he's helping to fill, helping with the podcast drought.
Yeah, that's not enough. Yeah.
But he did like a limited kind of go at it, and I think like I was like his last, if not like dead near last guest. And just while speaking with me, recording his podcast, he just unsolicited, just on his own, said there's going to be something for Jack. And I was like, wow, that felt like an announcement, kind of like he articulated that he's kind of itching to get Jackassy.
Wow.
And there have been like some posts on like Instagram stuff, like him and Jeff Tremaine, the director, like, oh, we got together, we've been writing, you know.
Well,
like,
because I thought maybe the last movie was almost you guys passing the torch to a new generation of jackasses.
it certainly felt a bit that way.
That you guys are going to take a step back.
I mean,
Hey, why don't you do it for the people, man? This is the time. We need it
We
more
need
than
this.
ever.
Yeah, you're
right
Well,
You're right,
now.
Moon. We need you guys.
I can tell you, like, you know me. I don't have a filter. I don't have any way of curbing what comes out of my mouth. The last time around, we all had a dinner, all of the OG cast members, and they presented us with their plan to get new blood, younger, like
Crazier.
I mean, whatever, yeah, so that we wouldn't have to take all of the brunt of the damage. And I'll tell you that all of us OG cast members just sat there looking at him like, huh? Like what? Like, no, we don't like that. We hated it. Like, oh wait, you want us to share the spotlight? Like, what we do is we compete for screen time. We are attention whores competing for screen time. And you're trying to tell us you're going to bring in a bunch of, like, new people. Like, we all, like, super did not like that. Ultimately, we were not in any position to make the call, we're below the line. So it happened. And literally the very first day of filming, we meet these new people. We love them,
Right?
You just could not love them. But if I'm honest, the whole experience, like with the new people, was fine. I don't really have an issue with that. It's just that the firing Bam thing. I think that Bam being fired served to, like, kind of become the story of that movie, to become kind of a black cloud over that movie. I felt that Bam wasn't in really a good place, and I was like, well, you kind of can't do it with them. You kind of can't do it without them. So, like, what are we doing? And if you're going to do it, like, it absolutely made sense the way that they had conditions in place, like you gotta do this, guardrails, you gotta be tested, like it had gone
You
to a
got to be
point,
sober. Yeah.
it had gone to a point. It made sense to me that, like, yeah, he should have these conditions, but in violation of the conditions, I just don't think it made sense to, like, scrub him completely and try and just extricate him entirely, because then that becomes the story. Look what I was campaigning for. I was like, hey, if he violates the conditions, then have consequences that where you reduce his compensation, you reduce his involvement, but you can't just, like, cut it
Erase him
completely,
from
because then now it becomes a war.
And that's what the last movie was. It was, wow, no Bam. And
Right,
that was the big storyline.
And you got him, like, lashing out publicly, like it's this whole big dirty mess, like, whereas if it was like, hey, like you popped on a drug test or you're, like you broke the rules, so you get reduced. But if it was a case of reducing his compensation and or involvement, then it wouldn't have become that story.
He's been in the news. I guess he's doing well from what I gather.
Yeah, I mean, sure. It would appear he's doing great. My concern is that when whenever he's presented with the microphone, he tells the microphone how everybody else is at fault for all of his problems. It's like, I'm just waiting for there to be some accountability before I believe anything's going to substantially change.
Yeah. Hey, do you worry about having done so many shows and so many stunts as a group? Do you have to escalate everyone? It's sort of like if you pull a practical joke on your neighbor, right? And you're like, okay, I will retaliate against you, but not you, because like I'll retaliate in you, Rizz, but Rafe, you look like the kind that's going to escalate to a level I don't want to get to, right? Do you guys get to a point where even you're like, man, can you continue to just do creative stunts, or do you have to escalate the craziness?
I think that the rule is that if anything's going to kind of be redone. The only way you can redo something is if you do it bigger and, escalated.
Right.
But if you can come up with different, then that different thing doesn't really have a measuring stick for it, So I think that it's got to either be like different and new, like original, or it's got to be like.
Well, what's so great about
A
you
lot
guys
bigger.
is, you think, man, they can't top this, but
Right.
yet somehow, you guys are so creative that you do.
Yeah, I mean, we're never gonna top that number 2 movie, in my view. But and I had this conversation with Jeff Tremaine, the director, that I'm like, dude, number 2 was the best, and Jeff Tremaine says, well, if you're into the "we're ready to die" bits, then yeah. Like number 2 was the "we're ready to die."
Yeah, really good and like well practiced, but also still recklessly youthful.
I mean, everything was working. The substances had not turned on us, like everybody was wildly intoxicated. Like, it was just that it was like a heyday where the consequences hadn't shown up yet, and we just got away with everything. And we just put everything on the line and everything just worked out.
Like all aspects of these businesses, radio, bands, music, comedy, everything that you guys are doing, we all kind of have a lot of similar traits, and we go through similar things. And I know that, like, whether it was something in my past or maybe it was something traumatic or whatever, there are certain things that I like wake up thinking about, and I'm like, ooh, I got to shake that. I don't want to remember that. With all the traumatic things that you legitimately choose to put yourself through, is there anything you wake up thinking about or like that keeps you up at night? Like, oh my God! I mean, I know you talked about the burn stuff yesterday.
Yeah,
Just
the
how
burn stuff
just how atrocious that was. Does that like kind of haunt? And I used the word haunting, maybe in the wrong context, but
it's isn't it a thing with like the mind forgets the bad stuff and you kind of romanticize what you remember?
Right.
Like I just remember the rad footage. Like,
so that keeps you.
I think
you
of
up
the
'cause you're
burns
laughing.
and I'm like, man, I got rad footage.
But the one thing, and you've addressed this before with us, and maybe Chris, you didn't hear this. What was something you said no to?
Something I said no to. Being duct taped to a mechanical bull sounded like a.
That was a no from Steve-O. That seems
Take us through your
It
thoughts.
seems
very
Tame.
tame
well
compared to you being slingshotted in a porta potty.
Right.
No, not even. Like inside the porta potty, I had a 5-point harness. So
You were stabilized.
I was stabilized, and it was basically like a roller coaster where you get poo spilled on you.
Yeah.
Like
That's the part, though.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you don't have
visually-
that happen to you duct taped to a boat.
visually looked really cool, but yeah, like I think from a safety perspective, like spinal cord injury was not a concern.
That's interesting.
If you get duct taped to a mechanical bull, it's going. You reach a point where you should fall off, but so you're kind of off, but you're connected, and so think of it jerking like that's fine, that's get paralyzed.
Well, and this is something that you were like, no.
I'm when I say no to something, like generally it's like my biggest priority is I don't want to be paralyzed.
Yeah,
Right.
and for you, so people
Spinal
take
cord injury scares me really
when
bad.
you say no to something, people take notice because of all the stuff you've done. When you get a no from Steve-O,
No, you don't.
Is there anybody else on the cast that had already agreed to it?
I was just
and
gonna
they're
say-
like, Steve-O said no. And
I
I'm
don't
like,
even know
whoa.
that was in the context of Jackass. But when people ask me this question, they say, "Did you ever say no to something?" I typically, I might even just say, "Well, I've got a boring answer and I've got like a fun answer."
well, there was the one where your dad was going to be disappointed, right?
Right. Yeah. The boring answer is the duct tape to the mechanical bull. Like your reaction is par for the course. You're like, huh? Like that's, The fun thing I said no to was in the mid 2000s. The VH1 network had it started, I believe, with Flavor of Love.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Like you get like 30 chicks in a house with this celebrity. It's an F fest.
Yes.
You know, and like one by one he throws them out of the house. Then it was Bret Michaels.
Yes, Rock of Love.
Yeah, Rock of Love.
Perfected it.
And it perfected it, please, thank you.
It was amazing.
Yeah. And then they were just doing this format worked for VH1. They were just doing it with all these people. I was actually contacted. Hey, Steve-O, there's interest in doing this format with you.
But I thought you did that on the Playboy channel or something.
Now,
like that.
I didn't do that on the Playboy channel. I did kind of jackassy, like jackass stuff that involves nudity. A little.
Oh, right.
But so yeah, so
They wanted to do a dating show?
yeah, like what? Like, yeah,
On
would've been
VH1.
so great.
On
I mean,
VH1.
like if you think about it, like given that format, like you know, like the format was okay. Today we're gonna have a challenge, you know, with all the girls are gonna do something, puts them out of their comfort zone. It's gonna just like sort of push the, you know, like to have me presenting the challenges. Like that had television gold written all over.
Oh, absolutely.
Still does.
Still does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they're bringing Fear Factor back.
You could save VH1 if it still exists.
Right, and I mean, and then there's like what you call the show. There's such opportunity there. Flavor of Steve-O.
Oh my God.
I thought about it for less than half a second. I said, there's no way I'm going to let 30 chicks tell the entire world how fast I. And that's a true story.
So you said no to it. That would have been great.
That would have had. There would have been like a house full of like me not in the room and them just like
Make it funnier.
But the cool thing is knowing, like, you got yourself to a point where you could say no to stuff like that.
I guess
Like,
so,
you
yeah.
can pick and choose
Yeah, I mean,
where you're at now with everything.
I suppose in hindsight, it probably was a terrible. I mean, it's a decision based on insecurity and fear. It probably would have been a great.
Could be you
business
at
move.
Busch Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look at it this way. Yeah, right. Bret Michaels just had him on my podcast. Best dude. He's
So sweet.
uncomfortably nice.
Great interview.
Yeah.
Did he call you
Thank
after he left and thank you for the interview?
Oh my God, he is like he has remained in touch. He's
so
like,
sweet.
He's the sweetest. Like it's uncomfortable how nice he is.
You're like, nobody could be this nice.
Uncomfortably
Yeah,
nice.
like what's really going on?
Yeah,
You know?
what's going
And he
on?
lifts up his bandana and you see the universe like,
Yeah, but he was just in town, what, a year and a half or so
July
ago.
4th.
July 4th.
Right, and he did some meet and greet. So my wife is just diehard Poison,
dude.
Poison from day one. So with Tommy's help, she got in line with the meet and greet and stuff like that and took it in there. And he, like the time he spent, now albeit maybe 30
he
seconds,
spells meet
45
and greet
seconds.
MEAT. by the way.
Yeah, I know that's different. Well, I stood back and let her have her moment, but the hey,
You're a
listen,
good husband.
she was this is the funniest part. Like, he was always like top of her get out of jail card list, and I go, here's your chance.
Yeah,
Right.
do
Like,
it.
it's
Go ahead,
right
knock
here.
yourself out.
It's right here. But the his focus on each individual person that came up
Yeah.
truly was genuine. Like it was kind of what you were saying with Post Malone earlier.
Yeah.
Like in a moment, like that each person, it wasn't just a meet and greet, hi, sign, take a picture. There was like an attempt to connect, which was really impressive and to see.
Yeah, for sure. And there was a point.
He really did do a lot for his career, too. I think
Dude,
doing that
Rock of
show.
Love?
it.
Oh, yeah.
It,
Put him
like,
back
it-
in
The Bret Michaels band, like the stroke of genius, when I think it was season 3, when it became the Bus of Love, and he turned that whole show into a commercial for his tour.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were like 2 busfuls of chicks
On the road with
On the
him.
tour.
and the
On the
show
road with
just
him.
followed him. The television show just followed him on tour and just put his Bret Michaels band on display in a way that just skyrocketed, and it stuck because he
Yeah.
is currently on fire.
Lern and I went and saw him on July 4th.
Yeah.
He played like a
Heritage
small
Fest.
little town up near here. Place was packed.
People
and
were
he was
loving it.
so good, and he sounded so great.
Yeah.
And he's taking care of himself, and he seems like a nice man.
Dude, the best. And
He's the consummate front man, too. Like, when he's on stage, you get everything. The troops. All the prettiest ladies are in St. Louis, Missouri. And they go, and it feels like Brett means it. You know what I mean?
He does.
He does mean it.
He thanked the troops 15 times.
50 times.
He did.
And he meant it every time.
Every time.
yeah. Okay, so after the mid 2000s, I'm thinking like 2010, something, the 2010s, early. And I'm trying to pitch some TV show. I go into the production company that was responsible for Rock of Love. And I'm like, man, yeah, like, what do you think of this TV show? Like, I love you guys. I love Rock of Love. And the guy, his name's Chris Abrego. He's like, oh, Rock of Love? You don't even know. He goes, you don't even know. Like, we couldn't show. He's like, you think Rock of Love was crazy? He says, we could not show how crazy it was. He says, for example, like you got the house set up, like the cameras have not been turned on yet. It's like the day before you start filming. Bret Michaels shows up the first night without any filming going on, the day before, and he's having a fivesome. Fivesome. He's just like, it's him, and like not even, not like, he was so. It was so ludicrous how out of control. And he was perfectly comfortable discussing this with me on my podcast. I'm blushing bringing up this experience that I had with Chris Abrego. I'm blushing. And Bret Michaels is just, he's had more 4.5, he says. Wow. 4.5. And it's like.
One of the girls' heart wasn't in it. I can tell.
Just going through the motions.
And there's recently Jeff Tremaine did a docu-series version of a book called Nothing But a Good Time.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Yes.
The story of hair metal of the 80s.
What, Chris, have you seen it? I think we talked about it.
We did talk about it.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Shauna, who works with Jeff Tremaine, just became super tight with Bret Michaels. So I told Shauna about this, or maybe she listened to the podcast, I don't know, but she was like so intrigued by him calling this alleged fivesome more of a 4.5.
Right.
She's like,
What does that mean?
what does that mean? She's like, please let there be a little person involved.
Right? You don't know.
Listen, I gotta break up the fun fest because we got to end it here.
Okay, but his explanation was one of the participants left halfway through.
Got it.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
nailed it.
All right.
You gotta
Just
gotta-
make sure that Wee Man Disappears stays relevant on YouTube because it's getting harder to find a good version of it to show people. Maybe one of the single greatest jackass skits of all time was Wee Man Disappearing.
Okay.
That one. When you said
that
little
is-
people,
that
that's
is-
the first thing that
that's
came
an
into my
A+
mind.
for you.
That's
your
one. That
favorite?
one. Oh, that one. I can't stop. I can't tell people that story without laughing my ass off on that one.
All right. Okay, we're done here.
We're done here.
We'll see you guys at Helium tonight and tomorrow. And I love the Rizzuto Show.
Oh, we love
I
you.
do.
Steve.
I love you guys so much. I genuinely mean that.
And when I found out you were coming to town, I was super excited.
Dude,
It's
I
always
like-
so good to see you.
We have this wonderful reciprocal relationship. You guys reach out to me anytime for anything, and I always do the same.
So make sure you check out Wild Ride with Steve-O, his podcast, which is excellent, Chris. And also see him at Helium tonight and tomorrow. Of course, Chris Kerber. We didn't really talk much hockey. Maybe we'll have to do it next week.
We got time for that. This was awesome. Thanks, fellas. Hey, thanks for
really
everything you
like
guys do.
All right, we'll take one final break. We'll come back, wrap her up. All right, what a show. Jeez. Have you missed anything? We got the clip of the day brought to you by Michael's Flooring. Also, the podcast, which is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. That is sponsored, by Dobbs, and it's called?
It's called Moon Pie Bit Me Yesterday, and it happened again today.
Happened today. Who got it today? Kerber
Yeah, pretty much.
got bit today.
Kerber
Rafe got
it.
bit today. Lern got attacked.
I got attacked. My shoes.
Lern is in the ICU.
Yeah, I'm broadcasting from the ICU right now.
I tried to take the T-Rex approach and not move.
Yeah.
He came over, or she came over and started eating my shoes, and I was like, if I just don't react, perhaps she will disappear.
Brown, lie down.
Make sure you go see our buddy Steve-O at Helium tonight and tomorrow. Big thanks to Chris Kerber for stopping by. What else, Moon?
Can you feel the punk tonight, August 8th, Chesterfield Amphitheater? Make sure you get tickets while they're available. 6 p.m. doors, 7 p.m. show. It's going to be so incredible. Chesterfield Amphitheater, August 8th. Can you feel the punk tonight?
Learn.
Follow us on the socials at RizzShow. Like, there's some behind-the-scenes content of Steve-O and Moon Pie today, so kind of fun. And we want you to follow us.
Yeah, please. Rafe.
See you this weekend at Point Fest. No notes.
Scott.
Yes, follow me at King Scott Rules, and also follow Chelsea Spack, because last night my sister-in-law was on FBI Most Wanted, that TV show, and I thought it was way earlier, so I apologize I didn't announce it yesterday, but yeah, she was on it, so check that episode out.
All right. New episode of the Spread Zone Gambling Podcast later on today.
She made the Most Wanted?
Yeah, like, is she a criminal?
Holy crap, bro.
What's
Well,
happened?
she plays a mean lady doing something very illegal in this show.
Oh.
Yeah, all right.
Sweet.
All right, we'll leave you with a selection from our Teamers Member of the Day, brought to you by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill from Livingston, Illinois, Katie Lowe.
Katie. Hello.